Pleasant good evening to each and every one of you guys. It's been a little while before I really got back to you guys. All praise be to the Most High God. The Most High God comes first. 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 Do you guys agree or disagree with me on that? That the Most High God comes first. There's Jesus and the 11 other disciples with him. It's the Last Supper. What do you notice about this? If you notice anything about this, stop me. We'll talk about it. All right. This here in front of your face is a Russian mural. This is another Russian mural. Well, actually, this is not a mural. This is a papyrus, Russian papyrus. Okay. Okay, so this is a modernized artist's impression of the Last Supper. This is different. But this is a Russian mural with Jesus washing the disciples' feet, also known as Yeshua, aka Joshua. This is another Russian mural. This is them having the supper. Okay, this is them having the supper again. These are all Russian murals. This is these are all artist impressions. This is not Russian stuff. It's not Russian stuff either. This is Russian stuff right here. Okay, so all praise be to the Most High God. The Most High God comes first. You guys can leave it in the comments. You can leave it in the chat section. What do you think about this? These Russian murals that you see here in papyrus. This is the actual Russian mural. It's gonna update it. That's not one. That's not one. That's not one. This is another. This is from the papyrus, but this is not it. This is Russian mural. Jesus washing the disciples' feet. It's a Russian mural again with the Last Supper, and this is the papyrus here. All right, you guys can. What did you observe about this? All right, just leave that for you guys to think about. Second point. This stream is brought to you by some products. Now, even so, I just want to say that though it's brought by these products, that you can also donate to this channel. To donate to this channel, just simply click the link in the description. To order the products that I'm about to show you from my sponsor, you can also look in the description and you will get the contact information. Here we go. Pleasant good day to you, ladies and gentlemen. The LIVE brand has expanded from drinks to punches. The punches cost $15. The drinks cost $10. In the drinks we have grapefruit orange sorrel, fruit punch, Morby lemon, ginger ale, and lime. In the punches, we have pumpkin, banana, Guinness, cocoa. We have sea moss, beetroot, molasses, and peanut punch. To order, check the description. LIVE, live now. We're live now. Good day, ladies and gentlemen. The LIVE brand also includes cleaning products. Now, here we have a number of cleaning products. To your right is disinfectant. This here is dishwashing liquid. This is fabric softener. But we have a new LIVE product, this product right here. This is car wash soap. We also have liquid detergent. To order, check the description. LIVE, live now. We're live now. Okay. So, if you want to get any of these LIVE products, place your order by calling the number or the WhatsApping the number in the description. You have to be in the Trinidad and Tobago area, though. Can't be outside of the country. Let's get into the stream. Let's talk. Got a lot to talk about, um, particularly how the Snyderverse is important. As you can see, the cover photo for this stream was this cover photo here. I'm just going to blow it up a little bit. Here's Henry Cavill's Superman right here. This is BVS Superman. Okay, and then to your left, this is a really great depiction by Kano Toys of Gun Superman. This is what James Gunn Superman looks like, and there's Crypto right next to him. Okay, and he does look, now I think about it, he kind of looks like Guardians of the Galaxy Star-Lord. He does actually look like Star-Lord. It looks like a Star Wars Star-Lord outfit they adapted to Superman. So that's it basically there. I mean, they look starkly different. I mean, this. All right, I'm not going to dwell on that. Okay, I just wanted to show you guys that, and you pass judgment however you see fit. Okay. Also, DC Studios, James Gunn has basically what Jeff Johns has been dying for this to happen, and James Gunn's pushing it through. This is DC Studios, and it's literally mirroring Marvel Studios, like literally. The Marvel logo, then Studios, and there's DC logo and Studios. So when they say they're going the Marvel route, they wasn't playing like that. This company decided it was going the Marvel route, and I just don't feel like talking more about that. This is a gentleman from YouTube, Film Quest he's called, and he's not a Snyder fan in any way, shape, or form. And when he saw the teaser recently of James Gunn's Superman, which is getting a lot of coverage. That's one thing. He's getting a lot of coverage. How bad it is. Okay. Again, to have as your iconic picture of Superman, him in the fetal position on the ground, is just anything but great. Okay. This does not look good. And I know James Gunn is trying to go from an underdog perspective. He's making Superman be the underdog, but it just sucks. I mean, this is a sucky Superman. If people thought that BVS Superman sucked because he was morose, he was sad, he was whatever, then what the hell is this? I mean, Zack Snyder painstakingly took time to convey the character with reverence. The first thing James Gunn does with Superman is he slams him to earth. The very first motion picture of Superman you get is this. So I just don't feel like talking about it because I'll just start a rant and I'll go crazy, and that just doesn't make any sense. So, anyways, in this thing, anyway, Superman is slammed to the earth. Okay, so this is the Superman that we're dealing with. I don't even know why I'm talking about this. He's supposed to be inspired by All-Star Superman. Obviously, he's also inspired by Christopher Reeve's Superman, New 52 Superman, right? And I don't know what to say, ladies and gentlemen. I really don't know what to say. I'm lost for words for once. And I just don't feel like going down the tube of negativity. But I can say this. This is the reason why we need to restore the Snyderverse. Okay? This is the reason why we need to restore the Snyderverse. That's how I'll start this off. Okay. I got this from a wonderful artist on Twitter. And I'm just going to read it for you guys. I know I have to go into all of this. I really don't want to, but I'm going to spend some time on it. So this is, of course, James Gunn's Superman. And this is his way of cartooning it. So my suit sucks. My movie looks cheap. The script likely is going to be overcrowded and all over the place. Cinematography is on par with the Flashes. No amount of talk with cute little animals will ever let me out of Cavill's shadow, and I look so AI level weird when I fly that even Forbes makes fun of me. So what? I promise hope and optimism, not quality. And my real DC fans seem content as long as they have a new flavor of the week to allegedly prefer over the Snyderverse. Yes. Shout out to the wonderful comic book artist that did this. I have another one somewhere here. Oh, here it is. And here we have the very first Superman to grace the screen. Not only was I the first one, I was also the first one to be replaced by an animated model for flight scenes. 2D hand drawn, but still. This is Barack Obama. I was kind of Superman for a while. Oh, I didn't need one. I didn't fly too often. I was all about smoking hot Lewis and making aliens great again. This is the great George Reeve. Say, were you wearing your briefs on the outside too, buddy? Listen, the whole X-ray voyeur thing, I can understand. I mean, I used to peep at Louis' panties. But did you have to wear so little red from the waist down, son? He's talking to Brandon Roth, who's supposed to be copying him. I guess Bryan Singer was gay. Yeah, he's gay, so I guess that's why. I don't know. I like to say that was the only thing we fell short of, but box office was no picnic either. What can I say? We thought playing you instead of a new iteration was all it took. Very naive thinking. Well, we got those two covered. I'll be playing you, but pretending to play a new modern version. And we made sure that there was red to spare under my belt. Man, this kid here sure has serious wardrobe issues, and that's coming from me. Why the hell does he keep smiling? Studios mandate. Twitter and YouTubes are vicious these days. Who knows? Maybe if it was a thing in my day, I might have been given a damn suit. He actually did get a suit, but at the end of the movie. But you didn't want the suit, so don't even come with that. Never mind the Trunks Club back there, pal. I mean, how cool is your suit? Better than anything my mom ever made for me, that's for sure. This is Henry posing off. Right, fits like a glove. No pads required. And guess what's cooler? It also comes in black. Okay, we know this is a Cavill fan. That's why he's got everything, the narration going that way. Peter Hockland's Superman wasn't bad at all. It wasn't bad Superman. It was a cheaper version of Henry Cavill's Superman because obviously lower budget, but it wasn't bad. Henry Cavill wanted to go the route of Superman having a kid with Lois and how that life would be. So that would have been interesting, and pretty much Superman and Lois plays off of that, kind of brings some continuity. I'll say this. Out of all the television series I've seen on Superman, my favorites are Smallville is not number one. At number two is Lewis and Clark with I forgot his name right now. And then Superman and Lois is at number three. Now, I don't compare television series to movies. I just don't do that, okay? Movies are their own thing, and television is its own thing. And I always will tell you, the television series generally speaking, is inferior to the movie that you would see because the movie costs a lot more to make. So you have a lot more quality. You have to have a better planning because you have to do all give the story, within a certain time limit. So it has to fit a certain way. And of course, it makes way more money because there's an attraction going into the theaters, even though we have streaming now. Um, for somebody to leave where they live in the comforts of their home and go somewhere into a theater to see something on a big screen, it has to be special, you know. So I always think of a movie as a tier above, generally speaking. Now, of course, there are some movies that are just shit and they're worse than television series, and television series might do better. But quite frankly, I would say that the television series, they did not do bad at all with Superman. Smallville covered the most ground. Okay, Smallville covered the most ground, but Smallville is before Superman became Superman, whereas Superman and Lewis is after Superman had a family. So I think they fill in the blocks of the Superman story. We already had like Lewis and Clark, which is like when Superman becomes Superman, and then Lewis finds out he's Superman, and then he marries Lewis. So all of that happened in Lewis and Clark. So we have all of this story, on TV about Superman already. Okay, which is kind of cool. Um, and then now when we come to the movies, okay, so the problem with Superman, and this is, I think it's a fatal mistake that James Gunn has done because, but maybe not. Who knows? But let me explain something about Superman. What makes Superman interesting, okay? Just like with Batman, you have to find stories that lead into other stories. See, what made Lewis and Clark interesting and what made Superman and Lewis interesting and even Smallville interesting is they covered aspects of Superman that we hadn't got covered in any kind of live action, right? We had that animated series of Superman. We have Superman, the animated series, and then we have the Adventures of Superman. But those stories, you can't be rehashing a story. If you're rehashing a story, that's boring. So we had, before Superman became Superman, what happened? And they gave the whole story. Smallville gave the story of that, right? Where Superman 1978 didn't cover that in much detail, where Superman, 2 didn't cover much of that, or the other Superman movies, right? Or even the Superman TV shows before that. Smallville covered it. And that's what made Smallville interesting. Besides that, the way how they did it, the music, Smallville's music veered completely away from dun 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 dun, dee, dun, dun. They didn't do no Williams score for Smallville, right? Superman and Lewis, you know. Smallville was somebody save me. You gotta excuse my voice. It was different. It was different. They went off on a different tangent. And then Warner Brothers, the stupid studio that they are, doesn't realize that what you shine at most, Warner Brothers, is originality, it's organic nature, it's director-driven things, it's new ideas, new concepts, exploring new things. You just couldn't do that, right? You had to go back and try and do the Christopher Lee classic Superman Returns. So Brandon Routh is playing Christopher Reeve, which he cannot do, and he's trying to play a version of Christopher Reeve's Superman coming back to Earth. And it's so stupid because it's like, why are you forcing this? You have Smallville, you're moving ahead, you're doing something different, and then no. We're gonna go back to something familiar. We're gonna try and milk that cow. And it was supposed to be the perfect Superman, right? What happened? It flopped. It flopped, right? And to this day, people are making fun of Brandon Routh Superman, even though Brandon Routh didn't do bad. He wasn't spicy. It was a boring movie in a certain respect because it was supposed to be this romantic love story. It was supposed to pull women in. Superman being a pretty boy, but yet he could do action sequences. There wasn't a whole lot of action sequences. Some of the action sequences in that movie were really dope, though. And the movie was violent. And I would tell people the movie was kind of dark. It was a dark movie. It was actually as dark as Man of Steel. Some people are debating that with me, and I'm saying no. So this movie was dark. Okay. Having said that, though, it was a much more serious take on Superman, by the way. Superman Returns. But it didn't do well. Everything that everybody said they wanted from Superman, the trunks, the look, the curl, Brandon Routh covered everything, all the bases. Behaved like Superman, had the bumbling Clark and everything. And it still did not resonate. Still did not work out. Why? It didn't work out because that version of Superman had become boring. People were bored of that Superman. How do we know that? Superman 3 flopped. Superman 4 flopped. Christopher Reeve was still alive. Christopher Reeve was still doing Superman. But Superman was no longer, anytime people talk about Superman, they're really talking about the 1978 Superman that they love so much. They're not talking about Superman 3. They're not talking about Superman 4. They say the script and stuff was poor or whatever. Right? They may go to Superman 2 because Richard Donner was associated with that for a period of time. And I think, I want to say this about Superman 2. I think that Superman 2, Richard Donner would have taken that movie in a different direction to what a lot of people want. I think Lewis would never have, I don't think Richard Donner would have cheat coded and had Lewis' memory erased. I don't think he would have done that. I think Richard Donner was going down a darker pathway with Superman. I think Christopher Reeve was excited about that. And Richard Donner didn't get to do what he wanted to do. And unfortunately, even the so-called Donner cut, which is really some guy editing a lot of things, and Richard Donner saying, okay, whatever, yeah, okay. It's a big compromise, okay? It's not Donner's cut. It's not what Donner wanted to do with the movie, okay? It's a compromise, okay? And it's sad because Richard Donner, I think, wanted to carry that character into much more deeper dive into the character. He had introduced the character in Superman 1978, but I think he wanted to go deeper into the character and have deeper relationships. He never was able to do that. He did this kind of superficial kind of thing. And then this other guy, Richard, whatever his name is, took over. He was kicked from the project. And I think they had some sort of creative differences where Donner wanted to do certain things with the character, and the studio was blocking him from doing it, which is sad because Richard Donner is a hell of a director, And what's the irony of the situation? And I think a lot of people don't realize this. You take Richard Donner out of the picture, and suddenly Superman doesn't work. Okay? And the only thing people can do is go back to the 1978 Superman, which was Richard Donner's introduction to Superman. It wasn't Superman. He was introducing us to Superman. And I think it's sad because I think Christopher Reeve wanted to evolve the character that he had. And I think Richard Donner wanted to evolve the character more as well. And unfortunately for both of them, Christopher Reeve, lost the director that was really making him special, making him, got that magic to make the movie really good. Richard Lechner, or whatever the hell his name is, Richard Lester took over. And it really just, he patched up the movie. He changed things, okay? Donner was going to do something different, and he changed things. And that's why the movie Superman 2 doesn't make as much sense. Superman was supposed to be on a journey. And you even hear Christopher Reeve talk about the hero's journey, and you realize, something's missing here, because Christopher Reeve is talking so deep, and yet, for some reason, we didn't get that movie, So anyway, I just wanted to put that out there. So the studio now, Richard Donner's dead, Christopher Reeve's dead. What do they do? What would they do? Oh my God! First, let me show you this. The studio, Zack Snyder comes on the scene. Okay, Zack Snyder does Man of Steel. Man of Steel gets very poor critical reviews. Movie does well enough. Doesn't do as well as Warner Bros. Wanted, but it did well enough. Start of a DCEU. And What does the studio do, though? What does the studio do? First, they sabotaged Jack with BVS. Of course, Jeff Johns was behind that. But what does the studio do at the end of the day? The studio, at the end of the day, turns around and tries to chase after the shadow of the ghost of Christopher Reeve and Richard Donner. The same director that they kicked off the project. The same director they never allowed to see his vision complete the way he wanted it. He had to settle for some sort of compromise, right? So here's Richard Donner now. They're going back to Richard Donner's stuff because the man is dead and gone. They think they can now take his property. They take Christopher Reeve's likeness in The Flash without his family's permission and put him in there along with Supergirl. And what's so disturbing about this whole thing is the likeness of Christopher Reeve is there, but his eyes are hollow and dead. It's like this dead thing in there. It's such a mockery to Christopher Reeve. And this is what these executives in the studio who are clueless, they're not connected to the audience. They do not understand what the audience is coming there to see. We all know DC is a totally different environment to Marvel. You will find some people who like Marvel and DC, but it's very rare when we come to movies that the demographic that makes up DC, the people who come to see DC movies, they're not the same people who go to see Marvel movies by and large. DC has always been the alternative to Marvel, and there are people who've grown up on DC, been watching all the DC content, mostly knows DC. They know a couple of Marvel, things like, you might know some of the, like G.I. Joe and, I grew up watching G.I. Joe. I grew up watching, what are the other Marvel ones? Spider-Man, The Incredible Hulk. Didn't really grow up, I grew up reading about Thor, but I didn't grow up watching Thor, okay? The younger people today have been spoiled in that they've seen Thor movies. I've never seen a Thor movie. I've seen a number of Spider-Man movies. I've seen a number of Spider-Man TV shows and series. The special effects was a little bit different. I grew up watching Batman, mostly DC. I mostly grew up on DC, what? Okay. And then, of course, besides DC, we have other things like IDM and so on, like Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles and Transformers, Mattel products I grew up on, like He-Man, etc. So you have to understand, I grew up in a different era. And that era mostly spanned DC. The prominent thing, there was Scooby-Doo, there was like, the Beatles. These are all comics, they're animated series, Winnie the Pooh, the Sunday morning cartoons, right? For some of you who know this particular character I'm going to talk about, Underdog. I grew up with, watching Underdog. I don't know if you guys know what Underdog is. Let me show you. Let me see if I can find it somewhere. I don't know, Underdog. Oh, here he is. I don't know if you guys know Underdog. Shoe Shine Boy. I don't know if any of you know about this. But, on Sunday mornings, I'd be watching Sunday morning cartoons. And one of them was Underdog, Shoe Shine Boy becomes Underdog. Okay, so I don't know how many of you guys grew up watching this stuff, but I grew up watching this stuff, okay? Of course, a movie came out. Underdog had a movie. The movie wasn't as good as the cartoon. The cartoon had its own vibe to it, So I'm mostly DC. I grew up with DC. Marvel, I've read Marvel comics. I read, Star Wars. I even read Knight Rider comics. I read Thor, Hulk, Captain America, was another one. I really didn't read Iron Man. I didn't know anything about Iron Man until later. Now, Iron Man's a thing now, but I didn't, Iron Man was a side character. I didn't even know about Iron Man. I knew about Thor, the Hulk, Captain America, Um, who else? Um, Conan the Barbarian. Now that's a Marvel thing. It wasn't a Marvel thing before. It was some other comic. But Conan the Barbarian, yeah, I read those cards. Star Wars, I read those cards. Star Wars is now Marvel, but it was Lucasfilm. Um, read Star Wars comics as well, all the adventures and stuff like that. It was really great. I mean, I've read a lot of comics, but most of the comics I actually read had to do with Superman, Batman, The Flash, Plastic Man. Um, I mean, the whole 9 yards. Wonder Woman. You know, um, um, uh, Constantine, and so on and so on and so on. It just goes on and on and on. There's a long list of DC comics I've read, and I still read DC comics to this day. I've been reading DC comics, so it's really cool. DC for me is what I grew up on. Okay, I didn't grow up on Marvel. Uh, so anyway, I say all of this to say that if anybody's a DC fan out here, it's going to be me. Okay, I'm a DC fan. And DC has, through the years, had different iterations of itself on television, in comic books, through video games, in movies. Okay, it's had different iterations of itself. Because they're different storytellers, and you can do a lot. You can flex the characters somewhat, but you have to keep the fundamental basis of who they are. But the thing about DC, from since the days of Batman 1989 to the present day, is DC's carried a heavier, darker tone in their movies. Now, it wasn't always that way. Okay, you had Superman 1978, and then you had Superman 2, and then you had Superman 3, and you had Superman 4, and then Supergirl. All those movies there in that span of time, all those movies were lighter DC movies. Okay. And so it was more dreamy and more naive. It was a more naive time as well. People are not abreast of things and didn't have the information superhighway as we do today. And it was not as much skepticism and sarcasm as there is today. Even though there was ample amount of that in the 80s, but when it comes to movies, it wasn't really reflected like that. Superhero movies, that is. So, Patty Jenkins said she tried to capture some of Superman 1978 and Wonder Woman, the movie in 2017. But I think she mostly captured the earnestness because she had constraints, because the story was written a certain way. She really couldn't do what she really wanted to do as she did with Wonder Woman 1984. And that shows me that she's a great director, but she's horrible when it comes to action. And on top of that, she's not necessarily the greatest storyteller out there either, right? Because she will leave plot holes in her story, and she doesn't seem to care. And maybe because she thinks she's making it for children, but you cannot sacrifice quality. Just because you're making a film and children are going to be watching it, don't sacrifice the film for quality. The thing about Wonder Woman 2017 is it was a quality film, except for the ending. The ending was shit. But for the most part, the film, you could feel the amount of work that was put into the film, the amount of labor, the detail. It felt like a film that Zack Snyder had attention to, a certain team of people had put all this work into formulating and putting the ground framework and all the padding and the footwork into that movie to make it what it was. And that movie came up in spades. It ended pretty weak, but it came up in spades otherwise, And it was still a safe movie, but it said so much, said so much, and I'm sure a lot of women would identify, men would identify with the movie, as well as it just showed a different way of doing things. So this movie was very revealing. And it was a fantastic movie, and people, of course, want to see an Amazon movie, of course. And I love how they invested the money they put into that movie. So that movie is, by and large, one of the great movies of our time. But and it marks the beginning of the Me Too movement and all that. But what I was going to say, because I got derailed, is that the Snyderverse. Don't forget, you can smash the like button. You can also donate via PayPal, and of course, it's sponsored by LIV products. If you're in Trinidad and Tobago, you can donate. What I was going to say is that, in spite of all of that, what I'm saying is that the quest, the movement away from this nostalgia of Superman 1978. I mean, it's Superman 1978. The date should tell you everything. It's a lot has changed since then. The character of Superman has evolved since then. We should be moving on, but we're not moving on. We're returning to that with James Gunn. And James Gunn, you know, he's still a tool because he's doing the things that Jeff Johns and Walter Hamada and John Berg, okay, were pushing. And even if, see, a lot of people say, well, if you support, you needed to support the Snyderverse because if you didn't support the Snyderverse, you know, you would support Black Adam because Black Adam, you know, would have brought back the Snyder. That's bullshit. Black Adam would not have brought back the Snyderverse because Black Adam came out under Walter Hamada. Walter Hamada was one of the producers for Black Adam. And even though Abdi and DeLuca, the people in charge of DC at the time, they were still carrying out to some degree Walter Hamada had producer status on that, so he could dictate what he had some sway into how, you know. And besides that, Jeff Johns was one of the writers for Black Adam. And I'm saying this to say this, that Black Adam is not a bad film like the other DC films that we've seen of late. The DC films that we've seen of late, and this upcoming DC film that we're about to see, the Superman film, they're all really bad. When it comes to DC standards and DC film standards, I don't even care about if it's in the DCU or not. DC film standards, they're all bad. They're all trash. Okay? I remember Zachary Levi eventually saying, you know, these movies are trash. I remember Zachary Levi actually saying, hey, watch what you think is good and don't go watching trash. I remember Zachary Levi saying that as he's parting the DCEU, and he's right. And he was personally begging us to go see Shazam 2, David Sandberg's film. And I'm so glad I didn't really go and see that movie. That would have been a waste of money, like Wonder Woman 84. I think all these movies are the same quality. I think Wonder Woman 84, Birds of Prey, The Flash, Blue Beetle, Aquaman 2, Aquaman even. Even though Aquaman had some good action scenes, it was really not much of a movie. You know, all these movies that I just talked about, to me, they're pure trash. The Suicide Squad, trash. Suicide Squad was better filmed, cinematographically. But the content-wise and the story-wise, trash. Okay? Costume-wise, trash. You know, all of these movies look cheap. All of these movies, I don't know. They had formulaic is the best word to describe them. Formulaic, felt like committee by committee. And I know James Gunn had free reign to do whatever he wanted because he's a Marvel director, and you know WB was going Marvel, but it still felt like a movie by committee, and it just felt forced. It did not feel organic. It did not feel like a DC film. I think, you know what? I know this sounds terrible because this is awful to say, but Studio Squad, which was the first time they tampered with a film in almost its entirety. They took David Ayer's film and they rearranged it with some stupid, commercial advertising group went and just re-edited the man's film. And that movie, as schizo as it is and as awful as it is, because it is a pretty awful movie. The characters in it are great, but the movie itself is terrible. Has paper-thin storyline. Having said that, Suicide Squad is a better movie than The Suicide Squad, in my opinion, because The Suicide Squad what they go out there to do, and the villains that they fight and so on, to me, it's awful. It's rated R. It shouldn't be rated R. It had no reason to be rated R. Um, Felt fake, forced. Costuming was terrible. I mean, the movie was blatantly racist and all kinds. There is only one James Gunn film I actually like, and there's another film that he produced that I like, which is Brightburn. It scares the daylights out of me. And Guardians of the Galaxy 2 is a charmingly interesting film. Other than that, I don't think I like anything that James Gunn has done, ever. And he's done a lot. And his only successful franchise has been Guardians of the Galaxy. His only successful set of movies. He's written Scooby-Doo. Got moderate success with that movie. But he's not really, they say he's this great writer, Dawn of the Dead and Scooby-Doo and Guardians of the Galaxy. That's it. That's his quota. And you can't even get full credit for Guardians of the Galaxy because that's really Miss Perlman who really, campaigned for that movie to see the light of day. Nicole Perlman, and he pretty much tried to out her from that. He wanted to take all the credit for it. So, so it's not surprise. It's, a lot of people are surprised, and some people are like, James Gunn. Let's be real. As DC fans, we collectively were moaning. We were collectively groaning that James Gunn ended up being head of DC, right? And all of us were like, what the hell? Okay. If you're a DC fan and you felt good about James Gunn, a MCU director, taking control of DC, you're out of your freaking mind, right? Because you're not a DC fan. DC fans everywhere were like, what the hell, right? And he never let us down when it comes to fucking up DC. He never did. He just continues to mess up DC and just drive Warner Brothers stock down the tubes. You guys think I'm joking about this? I gotta show you guys this because I know a lot of you. Look at this, man. Okay. On December 31st, which is about 6 days after Wonder Woman came out in cinemas of 2020, right? Warner Brothers stock was sitting at $30 a share. Okay? Sitting at $30 a share. Okay? Zack Snyder Justice League had been announced. I went and saw Wonder Woman in theaters. I literally did. It turned out to be a flop, but I went and saw it. I went and saw it with Damien Anton Vincent. Okay? And that movie was awful. I'm not going to I'm not even going to try to pretend like it was a good movie. I understood what the movie was saying. I understood oh my God, it was a terrible movie, right? I was laughing all the way through the movie. Damien Anton Vincent was fuming. He had lost his mind. He was so angry. But I said, you know what? I'm going to go watch that movie because Zack Snyder Justice League. We're going to get to see the Snyder Cut, so I'm going to watch it. Anyway, after that, Warner Brothers Discovery stock just kept on climbing because in anticipation of the movie dropping, Zack Snyder Justice League. And as you can see here, let me see if I can get it here. Zack Snyder Justice League dropped March 18, 2021. I remember seeing it the night that it dropped. And on the 19th of March, 2021, Warner Brothers shares had gone up $47 to $77.27 a share. Okay? Nowhere in the history of Warner Brothers has their share stock been ever that high. And just in case you think this is because of some other reason, maybe merger or whatever you think it is, here's what happened right after that. Screen Rant said Warner Brothers says no DCU Snyderverse future plans after Justice League. This was on March 22nd, 2021. And elaborating, Warner Brothers CEO Aaron Sarnoff confirms that there are no plans to continue with the Snyderverse after Zack Snyder's Justice League. The DCU has been in turmoil for some years now, culminating in the... Okay? So, March 21st of 2021, 3 days after. Okay? I want to show you something. On March the 26th of 2021, Warner Brothers stock it dropped. Okay, it dropped by $36 to $41.90. Right after she made that stupid announcement. So I want you to understand, the hype was real. The stock was climbing because Zack Snyder's Justice League was the movie. Right? I think right after the movie came out. Anyone who saw that movie started hitting Twitter, hitting Facebook, hitting YouTube, hitting social media with restore the Snyderverse. Okay? I know you guys know this story. I have to recap it anyway. Okay? And Ann Sarnoff, with her stupid self, came out on March of the 21st and announced that there were no future plans for a sequel to Zack Snyder. I don't know what these studio people think. I don't know why they behave so stupid. Back in the day, a studio sees success like that, just like with Deadpool and the Wolverine. You see success like that. First of all, you want that fucking movie into theaters yesterday. Why did we not put this thing in the theaters, right? My stock is going up. My company's stock is going up. You put that thing into theaters yesterday, right? Let make mad money. All right, so so they killed that. And because they killed it, as you can see from this graph, on the 6th of August, 2021, Warner Brothers stock had fallen by $11 to $29.04. So they kind of returned to the baseline that they were before Zack Snyder's Justice League had come out, right? $30 a share. Not too bad. And James Gunn's The Suicide Squad was released on August 6, 2021. Now, I know I've talked about this before, but I'm going to go through it again. James Gunn's The Suicide Squad came out August the 6th, 2021. I want you to see something. There it is, August 6th, 2021. Did it cause the stock to peak? Did it cause the stock to rise? Did any fucking movie out there cause the stock to go up with Warner Brothers Pictures? Because if the stock goes up, it shows confidence, not only by shareholders, but it's confidence by people in the community and the environment in the project that's coming out. Right? You start to see stocks go up, your stock value starts to go up. It means people are anticipating what you have. And what happened with James Gunn, The Suicide Squad? Let's see. Let's go to October. October the 21st was when Black Adam came out, or thereabouts, I think. Yes. And by the time Black Adam came out, Warner Brothers stock had fallen a further $15 to $13.50. So, if James Gunn's The Suicide Squad was really as good as you critics and all you so-called DC fans say, the stock would have gone up. It wouldn't have gone down. Or at least it would have plateaued out. It would arrest the fall in stock. Didn't arrest anything. The stock fell, and it fell by $15. So that when Black Adam came out, which I gotta admit, of all the movies that came out, since Birds of Prey, the best one in all of them is Black Adam. All of the DCEU movies that flopped, all of them, the best out of them was Black Adam. And it shows in the revenue that Black Adam actually earned. Without China, by the way. And of course, Black Adam had The Rock in it. And The Rock is a very particular guy, you know, likes to get details in there. And Black Adam, its action wasn't bad. It was, some of it was stupid, but it wasn't bad. It was bearable. Okay? And Black Adam could have been the movie to restore the Snyderverse if Walter Hamada, Jeff Johns were on board with restoring the Snyderverse. But we all know Walter Hamada and Jeff Johns were adamant. In fact, the connectivity that was necessary for the Snyderverse, which Zack Snyder set in Man of Steel and BVS, was continuously sabotaged by Jeff Johns. Jeff Johns continuously changed things. The end of Wonder Woman was supposed to lead to the beginning of Justice League with the Amazons. The Amazons were supposed to see the mother box vibrate in the present time, and Queen of the Amazons was supposed to say something is coming, right? So that's where Wonder Woman was supposed to end. Jeff Johns sabotaged that and gave us a weak ending. Ares was supposed to look different. So, you know, a lot of things were changed up in Wonder Woman by Jeff Johns. Okay? Jeff Johns again sabotaged Justice League. As we all know, Justice League was supposed to flow in from BVS. That flow was sabotaged. And we got some other horrible piece of shit that, again, substandard stuff. Right? You look at Wonder Woman, its connectivity to BVS, which it began with a connectivity to BVS, and you could see the standard was just a whole different standard compared to what we got when Patty Jenkins was fully at the helm with Wonder Woman 84. It was just terrible, right? So the Suicide Squad didn't even make a dent in the stock. In fact, the stock plummeted further. Then you had Black Adam. By that time, the stock was now at $13 a share. And by the end of the year, it dropped by $2 to $11 a share. And currently, the stock has plateaued off, and it's sitting at under $10 a share. Okay, that's where it is at now. At the time when I did this piece, it was $9.53 a share. Okay, it went lower than that. It went all the way down to $6 a share with certain films. You know, The Flash really made a dip. Again, Flash is supposed to be this highly anticipated film. And I didn't even know I cooked food. All right. And, you know, I went south. Went south. Okay. You're gonna have to excuse me for a second. I didn't know I had food here. I cooked food this morning. Now, some of you are probably bored with all of this talk I'm talking here. So I've been talking for an hour. And I haven't even gotten to what we need to get to. So I'm gonna try and just tomorrow's the last day of January. Okay. Check this out, folks. Sonic the Hedgehog. Split Move in the background from Man of Steel. People who made Sonic the Hedgehog said that they borrowed a lot from Zack Snyder's movies. We've heard directors say that over and over. Christian here doing a portrait of Aquaman. He's not finished. Still working on it. Jesus I'm Broke. Showing Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. South Cali guy. A lot of people don't know. South Cali guy was actually in BVS. That's him right there. In Gotham, the Gotham football game. That's him. He's actually in BVS. It's really cool. There's the outfit he was wearing. Yes. Right here. So, for those of you who don't know, South Cali guy was in BVS. So BVS was very dear to me. A DC fanboy's dream came true, getting to be part of comic book history. I'm forever grateful. Thank you, Zack Snyder. Shout out to the American Foundation for Suicide Prevention. Currently on sale for Prime Studios is Superman Resurrection, but it's also / apocalyptic Superman. The deluxe version is what we're looking at here. Shout out to Jacob Torres. I will never say hashtag sell Snyderverse to Netflix as long as Netflix is censoring Palestinian voices. Let me give you a rationale. Netflix removes Palestinian stories from its library. However, Michael Moore has been a champion for the Palestinians, promoting a documentary on their struggles, on their occupation, several short stories. So Netflix dropped them, but Others have taken on the responsibility. So, born in Gaza, 3 logical exits, children of Shatila, and so on. These documentaries or short stories were all on Netflix, and they canned them because they said that the license was wrapping up. So I'm sorry. I have boycotted Netflix until they put back on these Palestinian stories. I will not be subscribing to Netflix, no matter what they have. Humanity comes first. So if you see me saying fuck Netflix, but restore the Snyderverse, you understand why. Netflix is primarily owned by institutional investors like the Vanguard Group and BlackRock. And BlackRock is known for hiring mercenaries, and they're buying up real estate, and they work with the occupied territories in Israel, as well as other places in the world, destabilizing, agitating, etc. governments. And so, I'm sorry, I can't support Netflix, which has Zionists in there who are actively trying to shut up the voices, the Palestinian voice. And as I said before, it's very important that the Palestinians tell their own stories. I don't want to be telling the Palestinian story. If you're a Palestinian, I want to hear from you. Anybody trying to shut you up, I'm ready to punch them out of the way, tell them to shut up. I want to hear you. I want to hear your perspective. I want to hear what you have to say. I don't want people to speak for you. I want to hear your voice. So all those people talk about sell the Snyderverse to Netflix. I'm sorry, I can't be with you right now on that, because of what Netflix has done to the Palestinian voice, and what the company that backs Netflix is doing, sending out mercenaries to kill people in Syria, Lebanon, and Palestine, as well as Iraq and Libya. Can't be a part of that. With the knowledge right now. Back on the way to the UK, calls it the Kingdom. I guess he's arranging to do some shooting and stuff over there. Maybe for the 300 prequel. Because the UK, Warner Brothers lot. So South Cali guy sourced this article here. If you excuse me, I'm eating. South Cali guy, he says, in contrast, the fans of the Snyderverse continue to rally for a return to the darker, more mature storytelling that characterized Zack Snyder's DC films. Many see the firing of Goldstein as a step closer to a potential revival of the Snyderverse, which they believe was prematurely abandoned by WB in favor of a much more family-friendly reboot under Gunn. The rumor mill is ripe with speculation that Warner Brothers could be moving away from the current DCU model, especially as the studio looks to cut ties with the underperforming leadership and projects. Some fans believe that with WB's recent financial struggles, a return to the Snyderverse could be a profitable move, capitalizing on the passionate fan base that continues to demand it. James Gunn's tenure at the helm of the DC Universe has been met with mixed reactions. While some praise his vision for a rebooted DCU, others are increasingly skeptical. With the studio's financial situation in jeopardy, Gunn's future at WB has come under scrutiny. Rumors are swirling that his contract may not be renewed, especially in light of the lackluster performance of several recent DC projects, including Creature Commandos, The Suicide Squad, and Peacemaker. This has led to growing concerns that WB's strategy is not resonating with audiences, further compounded by a lack of strong momentum behind upcoming releases like Superman: A Legacy. Side Cali guy says, you could not live with your own failure. And where did that bring you? Back to me. Snyderverse lives. And it comes from I'm not too sure where it comes from. So that's a very interesting development. Let's talk about suicide. What images in reporting matter? Yeah. When reporting on suicide, certain images may harm more than help. Images that may be graphic in nature, notes, and sadness can amplify feelings of hopelessness and increase risk. Let's protect vulnerable individuals by reporting responsibly. Reasons on Broke podcast. He showed the financial figures for these movies that came out with inflation. The original box office for Man of Steel was $670,145,518. This was in 2013. With inflation, it's $812 million. Batman v Superman's 1.3 billion, Suicide Squad's 880 million, and Wonder Woman's 939 million. It's an average of 920.25 million. Justice League in 2017 would have been 768 million. Today, it made 661 million. Aquaman made $1.5 billion back. Aquaman made 1.15 billion. Today would be 1.3 billion. Shazam, it made 368 million. It would have made 406 million today. Joker made 1.09 billion. And as a rated R movie, that's really great too. Joker made 1.2 billion. Would be today. And all the other movies would have made under 3 billion, except for The Batman and Black Adam. The Batman and Black Adam would have made, the Batman made 772 million, sorry. Would have made 793 million today. Black Adam made 393 million. It would have made 404 million today. Shazam, Fury of the Gods, Blue Beetle, The Flash, Aquaman of the Last Kingdom, and Joker Part 2. These all made under $300 million, and they were not very profitable. Actually, no. Aquaman and the Lost Kingdom made 439 million. Would have made 452 million today. So, under Zack Snyder, the average amount of money that was made per film was 920.25 million with inflation. For Walter Hamada, it ends up being 585.6 million with inflation because of the Batman, I guess, and Joker. He had two big hits, Joker and the Batman. And Black Adam really was going to... Black Adam might have done something, you know what I'm saying? But anyway, that's what that came to be. And under James Gunn, the average amount of money has been 243.2 million that has been made. You can see everything's just going down and down and down. And that's, again, the reason why the Snyderverse is important. James Gunn has not helped the situation. He's actually made it worse. The interest in DC is at an all-time low. Shout out to Christina Wren. Jacob Torres sharing us comparisons between Sonic the Hedgehog 3 and the Snyderverse. Of course, we've heard about DeepSeek. DeepSeek has changed everything, and right now I think the Wall Street is all in shambles because DeepSeek is something, a public AI from China that costs less and doing everything better. With the potential to do more. It's doing things better than the conventional AI. Snyderverse toys keep on getting bought, mostly by adults, but they're getting wiped out. And people always feel you have to target the kids. Adult entertainment will yield you so much return. Deadpool, perfect example of that. It wasn't kids going to see Deadpool. It's adult entertainment, rated R. Joker. Why they don't put Zack Snyder Justice League out into theaters, I don't know. But I know it's going to do well because it's hella entertaining. Three days ago, this was trending. Today, Fire James Gunn has been trending for at least 4 days. Could be 5. Could be 6. It's been trending nonstop. Igor Snowden. My man. Clay Enos. Saudi Arabia. Beautiful. I'm not interested in Captain America and Red Hulk. I'm interested in the Accountant, Avatar, The Karate Kid Legacy. Those are my joints for 2025. Shout out to Zack Snyder. Ego's dog. There's Jacob Torres again showing you the rooftop scene there. Here we are on X. And boy, it was a comedy fest on X. Enough time has passed. Robot Chicken Superman is much, much greater than Super Pedo Gun. Super Pedo Gun. For those confused, this was 5 days ago. Why is the U.S. state in Silicon Valley having a meltdown on Twitter today? China released multiple AI models are 50 times more efficient than the best American AI models, and they made them open source, ruining the AI market. China's good. So in terms of Silicon Valley, Nvidia and those guys, their empire is falling, and China's strategically taking them out. It's pretty funny. No Snyderverse, no money. WBD, DC official, pass it on. DC Fans United is just so good. That is so wicked. This is the baddest action sequence I've ever seen of Batman. And the camera angles and everything. Look how he throws him down and just pivots on his feet. It's so sick. There's a pivot. So wicked. See, we don't get that kind of thing in DC anymore. We got cheap stuff. You don't even get movies. You get sitcoms. You know. Back in March, this was the promo for Zack Snyder's Justice League. Dan Jurgens really loved it. Calls back to Death of Superman. So Fire James Gunn has been trending for a good minute. DeepSeek. Trump considering ban on Chinese AI DeepSeek. But how an open source program will be banned is still unclear. You can't ban it. It's impossible. Yeah. There'll be no Superman trailer in the Super Bowl instead of and this sounds funny, but they're gonna have a Superman trailer in the Puppy Bowl. And you're like, what? What? I think James Gunn is having fun telling jokes and mocking DC fans. That's what I really honestly think. Um, I think he's trolling us. I mean, there's so many stupid people going along with him. But DC's going up in flames. Up in flames. People who shouldn't be doing Superman movies are doing Superman movies. Only at Warner Brothers. My goodness. So crazy. It's insane. Just a quick reminder. This crazy movie. It cost $363.8 million. Shout out to Anatoly Fedorov, showing the parallels here. We've seen what promises are worth. I'll make you a promise. So he's skeptical about promises when he's talking to Alfred, and you see him completely 180 degree, and he's making a promise to Superman. Henry Cavill is talking about, the hope on his chest, and he says, my world doesn't exist anymore. And then he says, this is my world. So he's adopted the Earth. So Krypton, the world he came from, it doesn't exist anymore. But he takes on Earth, 180 degree move. No man in the sky was there when I was a boy to deliver me from daddy's fists and abominations. And Superman is there protecting him from the absolute abomination, Doomsday, which would have killed him. No one stays good in this world, said Superman. And then Batman says men are still good. So these are the contrasts. We begin at one point, but we end at another point. And that's the beautiful thing about Zack Snyder's movies. There's a journey in the movie. There's an absolute evolution of the character. The character has to go through an evolution. A change of some kind, And that's the beauty of his stuff. What they thought they were getting and what they got. So they thought they were going to get this Superman. Instead, they got this Superman. Check out our Observations with Rob Liefeld. He's actually has an Apple podcast. I cannot access the Apple podcast, but you can. And you can listen to what he has to say about Marvel, DC, Invincible, Image Partners, and much more. Bad Noman says, I thought they said the Snyderverse is dead. Apparently not. It lives rent-free in their heads. Here we are again. You're shopping for your kid's favorite superhero. These are side by side. Which Superman toys are you choosing? Here are the different answers to that. Not gonna buy Injustice Superman for kids. Left one is an easy choice. That's not Injustice Superman. Nice try though. Literally the same color palette. Oh my God, they're still talking about color palettes. There's no such thing as a color palette, my friend. It's color grading. Same color palette and multiple scenes inside the movie showing where that universe ends up. Nice try, though. Batman fever dreams aren't the same as reality. Plus, being mind controlled by Darkseid isn't the same as injustice at all. Again, nice try. El Chaplin. Charlie Chaplin. My God. John Baker's laugh. I'm going to buy the one that didn't snap dude's neck for no reason. Very simple. For no reason. Never. Inside his burning holes in the walls. Guy says, yeah, he could have just flown in the air instead of snapping dude's neck. Or just covered his eyes with his hand. He did fly into the air in the movie, if you ever watched it. And should he cover his eyes forever? Because Zod clearly said he was never going to stop. He never actually watched the movie. Oh my God. The left, classic Superman. I love Henry Cavill, but I like him more to be Batman than Superman. He kind of just became the middle-aged Superman. The classic colors are fine. I just can't get past the thickness and bagginess of the suit. You like skin tight? We get it. For every Superman ever in live action, so yes. I'm picking the more colorful one that comes with the dog. Are you serious? Man, I don't know what is wrong with these crazy ass people. I know they're gun fans or they're shills for WBD, but yeah, y'all got some dog shit taste. I'm not gonna lie. Y'all got some pretty bad taste, man. Yeah, look at this, people. Here's Henry Cavill over here. Right? That looks like Superman. What the hell is this? My God. Ugh. I don't even want to talk on it. That's to tell you how bad it is. It's awful. I don't feel like I don't like just going on and around without any sort of purpose behind it, you know? So that's why I'm not even discussing that. The first one, second one is for me. I can respect that. I'm not sure what this guy is saying. But he's laughing at it. Only ever Henry Cavill is Superman worthy. Facts. Flag choice is funny considering Cavill is English and Cornstalk's actually American. Imagine going after somebody's fan-made custom figure. Use suppository. Not quite sure what he means by that. But what I would say is that's what's so embarrassing about it. Corn Sweat looks like the Englishman in the whole thing, in that he's wearing this big old baggy suit. What the hell, man? He looks very raggedy. Obviously, the one with the puppy. John Baker's laughing. They're both laughing. If at Dollar General, the left one. If I'm at Walmart, the right one. Woo, yikes. The new Superman looks bad. Was this made by Kenner Toys? That classic one was great. The new one suit and belt look horrible. Yeah. You can't help yourself. I just feel honored when you pop in. Kids don't give a fuck about toys. They want V-Bucks and a PC. True. Right side. Left looks bootleg. Maybe this will be one of Gunn's Superman suits during the movie, too. About as baggy. I'm convinced that can't be the final suit. He must find a better one somewhere. The boy on the left looks like he's trying to dress as Superman for Halloween. Man, I didn't even know that's a Halloween dress, bro. At least they got the bagginess of the suit accurate. Your kid is gonna want that dog. Ah, no, I already showed him before posting. He thinks the new Superman looks dumb. Me when I lie. No lies. Nobody in real life likes the new suit. Just accept it. Nobody in real life even knows the term Snyderverse. Just accept it. True, they just like his movies without being cultists. Not cultists, just losers who feel the need to go after fan-made figures because they're like, my superhero toys are better. Yo, walk-in suppository. Oh wow. At least he's a suppository. Oh my god. The one that doesn't look like he's taking antidepressants. That. Let's see which one is that. Oh wow. Which one is that? Oh, he looks normal. Damn. Hey! Boy. Yeah, Gunn's going for an underdog Superman, obviously, like I said before. Yeah. All right, let's keep moving here. Sir, I only see one Superman. He doesn't wear boy shorts. My kid really likes dogs, so probably the dog one. The one with the puppy. Psych. Neither. I would buy the 1980 NECA Christopher Reeve figure. Let's see. The likeness isn't too bad. The right one. Okay. Wow. The right one. I'm taking the one off the left because it's better representation of Superman mythos. He's bright character, full of hope, larger than life, colorful. The other one looks like an alternate reality evil version of Superman. What? A weird take. The other one looks like an alternate reality evil version of Superman. The Legacy one is awful and looks like a cosplayer wearing a baggy suit. But hey, at least it's a puppy, right? Keep taking those stupid pills. I'm not gonna lie, the responses are entertaining, and that's why I'm even here. Just to enjoy the entertainment. The right? Yeah, the right. Oh, God. Both costumes are shit, in my opinion. Obviously, Batman. To be honest, I like the left. Not sorry. The second, because that's a handsome guy. Cavill. Both. J'y pense à toi. I do not know what that means, though. All you broke losers can't afford to buy hot toys on the right for your kid in the first place. And I could be buying it for the kid, my friend. Not buying it for the kid. That's the point. Hot toys. If you buy a hot toy, it's like buying a collector's car. You're putting that to pose up somewhere. That's for you. That's for the adults. And that's what people don't understand. Like, adults can have toys too. Adults can have fun too. You know, they need to make movies not just for kids, but for adults as well. A movie can be layered enough that kids can enjoy it, and kids almost enjoy almost anything. Okay. Yes, the movie might be rated R. The kids will accompany you to the thing, and anything happens, you have a discussion with the kids after. That's all you do. But DC's always been orientated towards adult audiences. I don't know why they feel that they need to. I don't get it. Like, they're really trying to dumb down these movies for reasons unknown to me. And the whole reason why I even liked the Snyderverse was because of Man of Steel. And it wasn't a movie that took us for fools. It didn't take the audience wasn't taken as a fool. You know, I'm gonna be real with y'all. Superman 1978 played on the naivety of the audience at the time. Wow, it was a wow factor because we'd never seen anybody fly on the screen like that. So the special effects and the magic of it made it what it was. Nobody being wowed by that shit anymore, okay? Superhero characters do all kinds of things on the screen now. All right, we have better technology now than back then. So why are you still trying to go back into time to tap into something that nobody's going to be wowed by? And this is what James Gunn, this is what Jeff Johns, this is what Walter Hamada, this is what Toby Abrick, This is what David Zaslav and all of his stupid executive people do not get. You are trying to recapture something that cannot be recaptured at this time in this era. And James Gunn is trying to modernize something, but he can't because every time he tries to do something to satisfy these so-called Superman fans, they're not Superman fans, he's stumping his toe because it doesn't work. You have to make characters that are relatable. They're not just entertaining. They must be interesting, obviously, but they must be relatable. And Superman only works when he's relatable. That's when he works. When you can relate to Superman, that is what matters. It doesn't matter if he's the storyteller or not, but you have to be able to relate to him. And James Gunn is finding it very difficult to do that in the teasers and in the trailers that he's giving of Superman. He's trying to give an underdog story so people can rally behind the underdog. I know what he's doing. But it's going to be very hard for him to pull that off when he continuously puts tropes in there which are constantly undermining the purity and the sincerity of the character. So, because we know he's sinister, he has a sinister mind. So what he's doing, it might look pure, but it's really sinister when you really break it down. And you gotta have a clean heart and a pure mind and a pure conscience to do these characters and to do them justice at the top of that. And fake purity and fake honesty is not gonna cut it. Considering the one on the left isn't an official action figure that'll be sold in stores, it doesn't leave me with any choice on the market, does it? Also, the one on the right is Hot Toys. That's priced at about $500. It's more than that, my friend. It's about 1,000 something. What parent is buying anything like that for their kid? First of all, it's not for kids. Hot Toys is for adults because they're very expensive. You don't want your kids playing with that. Second of all, you are right. The one on the left is an official action figure sold in stores, even though it may be, but it is a very accurate depiction of David Cornsweet at this point in time. So that's the important thing. And so what do you want? It's not cool. The one on the right, because it's always in the bargain bin. Is it? I don't think so. They're sold out really quickly. That's a Hot Toys. That's gone. One is an unofficial 1/12 Superman, while the other is an official 1/4 scale Superman. Is it 1/12 scale? I don't know. You're just a hater, bro. I personally believe nothing lasts forever. Even if Henry wasn't sacked, he can't be Superman for 20 years straight. His reign has to come to an end, and someone else will pick up the mantle. Just stop this crap. You're better than this. You're better than this. How could you look at something that's so inferior to what Henry Cavill has done, and he got sacked? It wasn't like he was left or anything like that. He got sacked for this. So the person who's right now being an idiot here is you. Well, one is a custom real cloth action figure, and the other is an image that looks like a semi-balding middle-aged creeper from a failed franchise. I assume you're trying to say that who did this? It's Chinese. Damn. I love it. Superman at his best. Oh, yeah. Dude said looks even worse. Wax statue. Yeah, you have shit taste. That is why you're saying that. You prefer this. Oh my God. To this. You've got to be out of your goddamn mind. You have shit taste. And that's why you're probably somebody who supports a lot of flops, because you have shit taste. And that's just what it is. Your taste is shit. All right, funny one. But there's no official figure of David Superman. Why are you rushing? That's not even an official figure. That's fan made. Well, if it's fan made, it's pretty accurate. Which one would you buy? Are you seriously comparing a 1/12 toy against a 1/6 in art piece? Obviously, the art one looks better and super detailed, but the cost is far more expensive because that has nothing to do with it. The other guy actually captured uh, David Cornsweat's look and everything perfectly. So whether it's 1/12 or 1/6 or whatever, doesn't matter. Like you're getting all the nuances. The important thing here is that looks like Cornsweat. Other one looks like Henny Cavill. Which one are you getting? And if you're a Cornsweat fan, you'll get the Cornsweat. The left one gives me rubber chicken vibes. Yes. I feel like the one on the left wouldn't be so bad if it didn't look as baggy with all the lines and so on. If they had made it more streamlined, I don't think it will be as polarizing. Whichever one's on sale. Yeah, cuz I'm going to buy a figure of this guy snapping his brethren's neck instead of the kid loving one with a pet dog. Oh, so you're going to get him with the Zod neck being snapped? That would be kind of cool. I would like to see that. And that's why they continue to fail creatively, because they think a bunch of toy sales will make all the damage undone. If it's just about selling toys to little kids, and fuck WB and fuck DC. Exactly. The first one was made by a fan, man, and they did a pretty good job. Hate that you're creating a hate bait post on it. The dude tried his best. The dude tries his best. The actor you're talking about? It really doesn't matter, bro. It's shit. It's trash. It's a big old piece of trash. It's a big old piece of trash. I hate to say it like that. Like, we've seen this now. How many times have we seen this? Oh, man. Right? And now the hype, we see through this bullshit. That's why I can just clearly just say it's a big old piece of trash, because we've had 8 movies to see them try to do this well. And they double down, and they're gone right back to the same bullshit that flops. So this is why we're just laughing at them now, you know? And I said, I don't want to go into that frame of mind where I get angry and start to really curse, because Warner Brothers Discovery has been doing an awful job of promoting DC for the last 8 years. And I don't want to get angry, and I don't want to cuss. Okay? For the last 8 years, they vexed the fans. They moved away from the Snyderverse, and they produced only the most worst things they could possibly produce. And they never would move from that. It's like, once it's something that's shit and trash, Warner Brothers is attracted to it. You know? If it's good and it's meaningful, like Joker, even to a lesser extent, the Batman, they want to move away from it. How in God's green earth do you not want a sequel for the Batman? Your only freaking DC movie in the last, since 2019. Since 2019, right? So in the last 6 years, you've had one freaking DC film that made profit for you, and that was the Batman. And you don't want to do a sequel for that? I mean, why are we here, ladies and gentlemen? We have gotten 6 years of trash, and we're going to get more trash. And the same hype train, it's the same set of people coming out there and trying to, say you need to support James Gunn. And that's why I just want to get angry, because today is not a day to get angry. A day is a day to laugh. To laugh at the stupidity of this studio, which has not only made DC into a laughingstock, but now no one wants to go see DC movies. That's how bad their choice decisions and management has been over the last freaking 6 years. And if you go further back, which we won't, so from 2020 till now, they've been making poor decisions when it comes to the DC brand. Very poor decisions. Very, very poor decisions. They have had 2, 3, 5 CEOs. Johns, Berg, Hamada, Gunn, Safran. They've had 5 CEOs of DC. And all 5 of them have failed miserably. Miserably. They've made DC into a laughing stock. They took away all the good programming, Superman and Lewis. They took away all the good DC movies, right? That used to be out there, the DC animated universe. And they're replacing it with trash. 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 Personally, I like Man of Steel suit better. It's BVS. Not a big fan of the movie, though. However, for the kid, I go bright, colorful, and friendly with the puppy, because it ain't about me and what I like. Okay? You're going to just dump that shit on your child. And he'll eat it up. Maybe he will. Again, some children are going to say, hell no. And some children are going to take it and just play with it. Because this is children take anything. Children care about the thing. The rate limiting step is always the parents. The parents are like, nah, I ain't gonna watch that shit. And the child be like, but daddy, I want to see it. Like, fuck you, child. We're not going to see that shit. I'm not going to waste my money on that. But daddy, fuck you. As I say, fuck the kids. The one with the pants that has bright colors. Okay. Keenan Haynes says unfair comparison. One on the left is custom and the other is professionally produced. They're not toys for children, but if they were, I'd go with the one on the left because of the brighter colors and the dog. So these are all gun fans. That's why they're talking like that. Neither of these, they're way too expensive. Either get them the single Superman or spend a little extra to get most of the team missing Aquaman, Batman, Green Lantern, and Martian Manhunter. Go for Mattel, baby. Well, if it's for kids, then the gun freak will serve well. Because it's kids. Their world has to be painted beautifully and childishly. If they were going for Superman-like name, interpret Superman, then Zack and Henry portrayed the one unbeaten image. The thing about it is kids will adapt to whatever. So if you do the Henry Cavill Superman, they'll go with it. You give them the James Gunn Superman, some of them will go with it. Some of them are just not. They'll be like, nah, that ain't Superman, because they also read comics or whatever. So it depends on what age group. If you're giving like a 2-3-year-old, they don't give a fuck. If you give like an 8-year-old or a 10-year-old or 11-year-old, it's gonna be different because they're more picky, especially if they're reading comics and shit. I'll pick the one on the right for my kid and the left for myself. This dude reversed it. He's trolling. He can play his toy whenever he wants. Tied to a balloon, put firecrackers in, but nobody touches my mini statue. My God. The one on the left, that's an ugly piece of shit, bro. I like the brightness of Corn Sweat suit, but I don't like the chest emblem. Cavill's chest shield on Corn Sweat suit would be perfect. I think they both screwed up kind of. Suit's too dark, but I like Cavill's portrayal more, so Cavill, though. There's nothing dark about his suit, but it's blue. What the fuck? People are weird. I'm telling you, they're weird. They're so fucking weird. Like, you have not. Anyway, I'll show you guys iterations of Superman. You'll realize Superman has deep color blue. He has light color blue. He's in pink suits. He's in white and black suits. He's in black suits. He's in all kinds of suits. Okay. There's so many different iterations of Superman, from Red Sun to all the way up to Superman with the white suit. So there's all kinds of Superman. You know what? I'm beginning to realize people don't know the characters that they're talking about. A lot of these people just talk. I never choose Timu Superman. Funny part is anyone reading this knows exactly what toy I'm referring to. Whichever one my kid chooses that they prefer. One is custom, the other is official. Completely different things. No, there are iterations of Superman. So pick one. Exactly. You try to make it sound complicated, but it's not. You're putting a $300, $400 Hot Toys figure. It's not 300, 4,000. It's 1,000 something. Next to a $200 figure from a no-name company, custom made, maybe $500 figure because it looks like the likeness of the guy. So get your information correct. I think most of those who vote for Superman on the left do so because of the dog. They're not interested. They're not interested in the character. I guess James Gunn's gonna have to play the fuck up of that dog. That dog is gonna have to be the most likable character in that whole entire movie to carry it. I think that's what he's gonna try to do with Superman being the underdog Superman. One is a $500 figure. One is a custom fan made figure. They're not even the same scale. And yeah, you guys are again gun fans. I can tell. That's why you come with the same fucking argument over and over again. I mean, do you know how expensive in art figures are? For a kid, in getting the cheaper and more durable one, the fabric creasing on Hot Toys and in art, because you want to keep them in museum poses. Even blind man knows the answer to this easily. I showed this to my nephew, and he pointed at Cavill one and said, "That looks like an evil Superman, so I like the other one." I'm not spoiling him with Diaper Man. If this is a serious question, I'm going to say neither, because one isn't an official figure, and that has nothing to do with it. It's which one would you buy for your child? Like, stop being a fucking asshole. Like, some people are assholes, right? They're trying to get all technical and everything. He didn't ask you that. So which one you gonna pick for your kid? Yeah, it's not fair, right? Our expensive 1/6, and now they're going with dimensions again. Oh, fuck you. Neither I am getting him a comic accurate figure because those both suck. Okay, the one with the dog and bright colors is the one most children would like, if we're being honest. I don't know. Yeah, it's a good question to ask the kids. The brightly colored one with a cute dog and doesn't have a giant forehead. Yeah. What are you going to say about that? There's so much I want to say, but I'm not going to say anything. I'm just going to keep it moving. The user's comparing a fan's work to a hot toy. Yeah, nothing wrong with that. It's custom made. Boys like colors and wrestling, so the first one. Maybe. I don't know. These are really expensive. What we will see, we'll see with sales. When the toys come out, we'll see how quickly they get sold off. That's the question. And it's going to be based on the movie, I'm sure. These are really expensive. You should probably let your kid make the choice so he doesn't end up getting the wrong figure. Heck, if you do get the figure, the child would probably be seen as ungrateful if they don't like the figure. So just let them pick it themselves. That's a good idea. Neither of these are children toys. Plus, the one on the left is a custom. Doesn't matter. He asks, which one would you get your child? The colorful one with the dog, obviously. Glad the grimdark stuff is in the past. There you go, another gun fan. Left, so the gun fans came through and they started responding. Yeah, so I see. One actually looks like Superman, and it's not the one without crypto. So he's saying, you see, gun fans. Does the new one have a cloth costume like the old Mego figure? That rules. The brighter one that comes with a dog? What kid would prefer the one on the right if the other comes with a dog and brighter? More super. Okay, so you think? Yo, how does the suit even on the toy look horrible, bro? I'm Jason J. with Corn Sweat Superman because he shows hope. I feel bad for Henry Cavill because he really wanted to be a good Superman. Zack Snyder wrote him unlike how's it? And again, just a gun fan. Comparing a custom figure to something made by, and now see their thing, you can see what they're coming from. They're like, oh, this is unfair comparison because they know what the answer is going to be is Cavill, right? And the other guy just looks like shit. Okay, so you prefer to give your child a shit doll because it comes with a dog. Oh no! We can't do this comparison because one's a 1/12 scale and one is a 1/6 scale and one is a hot toys and one is custom. Nobody asked that question. We just said, which one would you take? Just given what you see. Yeah. Look, bro, I know you've tried to do here, but the dog combo making everybody else choose the left pick, especially if it's a kid's toy. And he's laughing, but really, I disagree. Because that guy looks scrappy. Of course, the true Man of Steel for me is, and my kids, is Henry Cavill Superman. Yep, of course. Depends on which version of Superman the kids like. Personally, it's between these two for me. They're simple but perfect figures for kids. No, because the one there does not David Cornsett. That is the new 52 Superman. That's not David Cornsett Superman. Yeah, correct. To be fair, the one on the right is Hot Toys and probably $300. Still don't like the new Superman design, but you got to compare Hot Toys to Hot Toys. No, you don't have to do that. You just need to make sure that the toys are in the likeness of the characters that they represent, which that custom-made Hot Toy is quite much in the likeness of the Superman that he represents. So that's bullshit. Y'all need to stop being assholes, and y'all need to be straight and honest. I'd buy both. Throw the Superman on the left and give him the crypto and super. And give the crypto and Superman on the right. If crypto is also so separated, then definitely just the one on the right. You stupid. No, I don't want crypto either. I don't want any super dog. Definitely the one on the left. It has crypto. I'm going to overthink this, but yes, you're going to, so don't do it. The one on the left is brightly colored and simple in design and can come with a toy of a dog, meaning an extra toy for kids to play with. The other one is likely to be a collector's item and will be put on display but never played with. Really, actually, neither should be played with. They're both, the one is a custom-made model. It's scrappy as fuck, but it is a custom-made model. And it comes with an accessory, which is a dog, which I don't know if the dog can move. I guess it would be able to. And the other one is a high-level, detailed Superman model as well that can be moved and played and customized with. I chose the one that looks like Superman, not the darkly colored, miserable looking one on the right. The darkly colored, miserable looking one. This is, look, people, this is supposedly miserable looking. He actually has a slight smile on his face, right? Like this is entertaining. This is what I like. I like to hear people talk some real shit that makes no sense whatsoever. This guy looks miserable looking. He's not even smiling. Yeah. This guy, he's smiling. Yeah. He has a smile on his face. That's crazy. Miserable looking. The lack of self-awareness is amazing. Oh man, this is so funny. I'm in 2 hours and something seconds in. You see, guys, how much time I've spent on Restore the Snyderverse, okay? But I'm just trying to show you how you can tell these people are gun fans and they came in just to support gun and to say all kinds of stupid stuff that absolutely it just don't add up. You know what I'm saying? It just does not. I enjoy going through these and just listening to the immense stupidity that these people say. Cavill for me, kid can get the one with the dog. I wouldn't get the one with the dog for the kid. I would get the Cavill Superman, and probably most of the kids will want the Cavill Superman. I'll tell you why. After seeing the Superman movie, I'm not sure if they'll want the dog or the Superman there. Yeah. You know? But I must say, great job by whoever custom made this, because they absolutely captured what this guy looks like. His stuff it's not fitting perfectly. His suit's not fitting perfectly. I don't know why the fuck James Gunn put lines on this suit. It's supposed to be New 52, but it makes no sense. Why are they there though? Why are those lines there? Is it padding for him if he hits into something? And why would he need padding? I don't get it. The dog, I thought the dog would have a flex, but it doesn't have a flex. So he has one ear up, one ear down, but the dog can't move around. I don't even know if this toy can actually move its arms and stuff. Maybe it can, maybe it can't. But good job with the puffiness of the suit. This is well done. This is really well done. No, this guy's not smiling. He's not happy in any way, shape, or form. Whereas Henry, Henry has a slight smile. Yes, his forehead is. This is a little ridged in the center there. But I don't get it. I don't get it. I don't get. I don't get people's taste and stuff. All right, this has to do with something that's very important that a lot of people have been saying. A lot of people said, Zack Snyder was planning on doing Man of Steel 2, that was on the cards. Well, Jay Oliver totally destroyed that. Um, Here's what Jay Oliver had to say about this. So, Batman, first of all, was already added before the release of Man of Steel, yet you were in the room after they made the decision that was already made months ago. All right, so school's in session. Back in April 2013, before Man of Steel was released in June, this is Jay Oliver covering this, I was tasked with doing the Superman 75 short. I met with Zach, who was the executive producer on it, and he showed me storyboards of BVS with Batman already in it. And it was a Batman from The Dark Knight Returns. So Zack Snyder had already planned, he had already planned out what was supposed to happen. He knew the road to Justice League. Remember, he had planned out a Wonder Woman movie and everything. So when Patty Jenkins came in, she just had to fall into most of what Zack had already put the foundation down for. Zack had already planned out, the Batman movie that was supposed to happen, the Flash movie. They had something. I remember somebody saying how elaborate when they went into the elaborate plan that Zack had planned out for the DCEU. And sadly, so anyway, Jay Oliver is giving them the lesson. I know this is a fact because I was there, and I remember it very clearly because I was sad that I may not get the opportunity to work on a film that uses Miller's Dark Knight Return as an influence. Because, well, I kind of did a little film that just did that. So how could it be revisionist history if the plan for the following films were already planned before the release of Man of Steel? Now, was there a plan to do a sequel when Goyer and Nolan wrote it? I don't know for sure. But you can bet your ass that prior to June, there was a plan. So I just wanted to let you guys know, Zack Snyder already knew. And Zack Snyder almost always already knows. Like with Rebel Moon, he knows the Rebel Moon's supposed to have 6 episodes, for example. He knew he wanted to do 5 Superman movies. He knew these things. The plans were there. So anybody telling you, oh, Warner Bros. Was just planning out on the whim and they were just trying to, that's bullshit. Zack had already mapped out the whole thing. Just like how he's mapped out the whole thing for Rebel Moon. Just like how he's mapped out the whole thing for the Army of the Dead universe. Okay? Right? Just like how he did his series on Twilight of the Gods. Okay? So that's how Zack moves. Zack doesn't move by chance, man. Come on now. Y'all know Zack better than that. Baramos makes a very important point. BVS was only in theaters for 13 weeks. Civil War was in theaters for 21 weeks. On Friday, July 15th, 13 weeks in, Civil War had made $51 million. On June 10th, the last Friday BVS was in theaters, at 13 weeks, it had made $53,000. This was all on Box Office Mojo, but no one has analyzed it. In other words, Warner Bros. Pulled Zack Snyder's Justice League prematurely. Let me say it again. Warner Brothers pulled Zack Snyder's Justice League prematurely. At 13 weeks, it was grossing more, or the equivalent, of Civil War. And if they had left it to do what it was doing and kept it in theaters, it probably would have made more money. Just saying. Here's Sal Callie again. He's talking about being in Batman v Superman, which is really dope. Lethal Geek says, like we keep saying over and over, they may look like grown men on the outside, but I assure you they're not. We wouldn't be here if they were. They are still cheering, refusing to move beyond 1978. These people never had any substantive criticism of these movies beyond what a child trapped in an adult body would want in a superhero film. They want fart jokes, idiotic banter with the characters with cheap platitudes. You'd think DC was more than this. Pathetic. This is Robert Mayer Burnett who's saying, here's the reason Zack Snyder's Man of Steel trilogy underperformed. I say this as a fan. There is no joy in those films. There's no humor. There's no warmth. They are relentless, blah, 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 blah. And he went on to say something about Superman watching Lewis's panties or some shit like that. And Robert Burnett saying he's a fan, yet he's going in on it. And I don't understand why these people are doing this, except I think they're desperate for Gunn's movie to do well. Who's to blame if the DCU gets canceled? That goes on James Gunn. He's the head of the DC right now. James Gunn and the company that he works for. When Zack's DC Films merchandise becomes sold out. Yep. These are sold out. Sold out, sold out, sold out. Yep. All the DVDs, all the Blu-rays, everything gets sold out when Zack stuff goes up for sale. It's funny as hell. So Fire James Gunn's been trending today.
Nobody shall wield Excalibur but me! My rage broke it.
No weapon forged by man will harm you whilst you wear this armor.
The future has taken root in the present.
Okay. The man who designed this wonderful work of art, Hans Wagner, he named it the Götterdämmerung for the final chapter in his namesake Richard Wagner's epic opera.
Zack Snyder's Justice League sells at IMAX tickets with a price tag of over $100 each for a special event at City Walk AMC Theater. This was the Full Circle event. They sold out everything. As a fan of this movie, I really hate everything about it. I say this as a fan, though. That was Robert Mayer Burnett. He said there's no humor, there's no warmth, they're relentlessly portentous. They need a Superman on the roof with Lois knowing her underwear is pink. Seriously. I was Robert Burnett. Which Superman flight looks better? I said one is a parody, the other is real. There's only one Superman, and that is the one on the right.
But Israel has achieved none of.
So Cali Guy says news spreads fast. 6 months may not be enough to think the damage that may have already been done. Henry Cavill's return in wake of divisive DCU reboot clip. James Gunn's Superman fails to impress with flight video. Fans can't get over Henry Cavill. Superman director defends goofy and cheap clip of David Cornstalk flying after a backlash. Superman's director James Gunn protects silly brand. New clip after it was buffooned by fans, triggering craze of memes. Yeah, people making fun of this thing. Dude says, no joy, my ass. And that's responding to David Burnett. This shit was just lit. Dave Dodger says David Burnett's idea of humor, warmth, and joy, Superman being a perv, disgusting. He delegitimized himself with that tweet. I don't want to hear any more Robert Mayer Burnett takes. Ugh. Lucy Party says, doesn't it make any sense if an ass pull, though? Just get the spirit of Wonder Woman. She literally almost beat him solo already without it. This was in respect to BBS, I believe. To which Raphael Syed says, here's a random woman I just met. Take the spear, make sure to stab it in his heart, and I'll just hold your lasso just in case he gets loose and decides to kill you. It's an easy kill, but I'm too afraid to do it myself. Oh. College Digital says, haha, the guy's doing a whole tap dancing for gun tour. The panic is real should be the new slogan. And who will those games with the lasso, moron? Vinny have been doing a great job with these different video posts.
We have orbiting a main sequence yellow star, just as you said it would.
This is another one of Vinny's stuff.
Videos of the resistance.
All right. Why would the strategies used to try and isolate and alienate the Snyder fandom and claim ownership of DC fandom, BVS was a disappointment Man of Steel was to visit, now suddenly convince people to watch Superman L? You changed nothing. You just repeated the same thing again. It's really telling me that their new attempt to appeal to Snyder fans to watch Superman L is simply repeat the same strategies used for years to convince us to quit engaging with DC altogether. Snyder fans need to leave the fandom so DC could heal.
And yeah, we're gonna get fucking killed before it.
Let
me mention another JFK document.
If you're here,
Okay, without Snyder, this is what we're looking at, and with Snyder, we have this. So on your left is without Snyder, on your right is with Snyder. General Zod looks like he's drunk or something. Without Snyder, there's no emotion, no feeling, nothing. The performance is flat. With Snyder, man, did that brother give a performance of a lifetime. With Snyder, Ben Affleck's Batman just works. Without Snyder, he's a buffoon. With Snyder, Henry Cavill looks great. Without Snyder, he looks like an uncanny valley. Same thing for The Flash, and Flash is even more wacky and just not doing anything by physics when he's not with Snyder. When he's with Snyder, he's actually kind of reined in, not as loony, and also he's not. It appears that he's doing things at least that look more attractive and follow the rules of science.
The reason I created
Still calling Henry Cavill Superman, ladies and gentlemen. Still called Superman. Never forget that Warner Brothers mandated the removal of these two scenes for the theatrical release and then falsely claimed that Snyder didn't understand the characters when, in reality, it was the studio's interference. These scenes are perfectly yin and yang. Both begin with destruction. Superman gives up on helping people, flies off, whereas Batman's intentionally just ransacking the place. Right. Andrew True as Feora in Man of Steel was dope as hell. I love this. So crazy.
A good death is its own reward.
A good death is its own reward.
Sucking him into the Phantom Zone. It's Wonder Woman. Man, I would love to see Wonder Woman go up against Fiora. They're both superpowered, strong beings, so it'd be crazy. Fiora. And Zack Snyder's Justice League is just lit. Lit, I'm telling you. Look at the Zeus, Superman. Oh, I love this, dude. The parallels between the old gods and the sort of new gods. Well, not new gods, but the Justice League. Because you remember the Justice League, we now know what the Justice League is there for. It's like a league of heroes, right? We had the old age of heroes, and this is the old age of heroes with Zeus, Artemis, and Ares. And then you have Superman. Notice Zeus is flashing lightning from his hands to get to Darkseid. Superman's burning off Steppenwolf's armor. Batman, when he was serving in the Justice League, he was kind of like shooting off the parademons and stuff. Artemis was doing the same. She was taking down ships. And of course, Ares went toe-to-toe with the main baddie and really inflicted great pain in him. And the way how he did it was very much like how Wonder Woman, beheaded Steppenwolf. So I thought it was all kind of cool. How you can see the parallels between the old age of heroes and this new age of heroes. Almost like they come back and we filled in the gaps. So I thought that was really dope. Shout out to Snyderverse for that.
Have you heard about this mass surveillance program?
So here is another beautiful thing here. DC fans divided the debate over James Gunn's direction. There's fire James Gunn. A significant portion of the DC fan base is expressing discontent. Twitter is saying this. With James Gunn's leadership of the DC Extended Universe, not Extended Universe anymore, just the DC Universe. DCU, leading to the hashtag Fire James Gunn trending. Fans are particularly critical of Gunn's decisions, such as canceling the Batgirl movie, replacing Henry Cavill's Superman. The teaser for the upcoming Superman movie has drawn criticism for its CGI costumes and marketing. Many fans expressed a desire to return or revive the Snyderverse, believing it better represents the essence of DC characters. However, there's also a counter-narrative urging patience, suggesting that Gunn should be given an opportunity to demonstrate his vision for DC before judgments are made. I gotta be honest with you, I already know how this is gonna go. I know what kind of movie it's gonna be. Like, we already...
That is a flock safety camera. It's an artificial intelligence automatic
Okay, so basically she's talking about AI used to monitor people and probably even facial recognition and so on. And they're putting these things down in different cities now in America. So they're monitoring people. And she's saying the same mass surveillance that the Israelis have on the Palestinians, they're now using it on Americans. So it's not just a test anymore. It's becoming a reality. There's another thing you guys need to know, that the rule, nobody's tested AI to see what protocols they have, that have a protocol override to protect human life. There's no such thing as that with the AI. So, as we all know, this AI came from aliens. These aliens are really demons. And the AI itself is already described taking over the world, destroying it. So that's kind of the general plan. Once they get into the efficiency where they can do that, they're going to do it. This rule is run by demonic principalities. It's just what it is. That's the world we live in. More than 50% of Americans are furious that they're being forced to fund genocide of Jews. This is an American guy, and he's really talking. He's from the Cincinnati Citizens Forum, and he's against what is happening. Stu Peters is another guy who's against the stuff that's going on. And, of course, the great, I forgot what his name is, but he's talking about what's happening. So people really know what's going on with Palestine and how that actually percolates into the American public. The American public is not cared by its governments. Peters is able to expose that. You also have another guy, I forgot what his name is right now. His life was threatened. He's speaking out as well, another white guy. So there are a couple of people standing up there and speaking the truth out here about Palestine. There's a lot, they're right now trading hostages. They're in a sort of ceasefire. It's not perfectly kept. Israel is breaking it quite a lot, but there's a ceasefire. Hamas all over the place. Hamas hasn't been in any way affected. The Palestinian people have been the ones who have been suffering the most. Right now, they've taken on the assault on the West Bank. Israelis, for no reason at all, except they're trying to clear out the West Bank and they're trying to get people out of their homes. No one is doing anything internationally to stop them from doing this. So it's up to us as people to stop them. Again, we need to frustrate the transport of arms to Israel. This is our main focus. The focus should be on trying to stop Israel from getting armed. The other thing we have to do to prevent that is make sure that cash flow doesn't go to them. We don't give a fuck about the federal government and what it's doing. We're going to follow the law, and we're going to force the federal government to either move in another direction or whatever. We have to put pressure on these people. Just like what we're doing with Warner Brothers, we need to do to them. No more taxes for your dumb ass until you reverse course in which you're going. I don't give a fuck who gave you money to do what. We are not party to that. And our interest is that there are no more wars out there with American money supplying these wars or with American infrastructure in any kind of way. Their military, their weapons supplying these wars. Everything needs to be shut down. And that includes aid to Israel and Egypt. Now, Donald Trump wants to do a venture with Saudi Arabia. That's really his main thing. He's not really interested in Israel like that. But to get normalization with Saudi Arabia, which Saudi Arabia says you need to normal. Normalizations with Israel, we need, first of all, for you guys to end that war. Now, I don't know if Donald Trump, I don't know what he's thinking. He's probably fluently thinking about everything. It's a fluid situation, but so far, his right-hand man has been ensuring that there's a ceasefire that's going on in Gaza. Donald Trump is talking like, they should move out some of the people from Gaza. Some people do want to get out of Gaza. I'm not going to lie to you. But some people want to stay in Gaza. So the people who want to stay in Gaza should be able to stay. And again, the Palestinian as a state, as a country, needs to be put into existence. So these people can have rights so that they can not be occupied by anyone and have their own space to do their own thing. They should be able to have their own military, their own politicians, whoever they decide they're voting for, whatever, get their elections down and be able to have a state and then run their affairs with their state. That is what should happen. And anybody falling out of line with that, again, Israel is not supposed to punish everyone for that. Because, again, Israel is showing they don't respect sovereignty. They have attacked Lebanon. They have attacked Syria. Yeah. Jordan has held good relationships with them, so they haven't attacked Jordan. They've attacked Yemen. And these are all sovereign states we're talking about, not Palestine. Palestine's not a sovereign state. But so they don't respect sovereignty. Right. So, but it's still important that Palestine be a sovereign state, and therefore we can really hold Israel accountable in an even bigger way. And we can also put our own military into those places. The United Nations should have peacekeeping forces in Palestine, as they have in Lebanon. They should have peacekeeping forces in Syria at this point in time, again, to control the situation. So even though Syria has a government there, that government is allowing Israel to do a lot of shit in Syria right now, and the Syrian people are suffering for it. Some people are relieved and some people are not. So there's a lot going on with these places. I don't want to go into too much more detail. I've really actually covered much more of. Oh, this is great. Listen to this. This is fucking phenomenal. It's funny as hell.
Hey, my bag!
I'll save you. I'm sorry. I'm cross-eyed. It makes this really hard.
Really good stuff in the world.
Okay. The Codex is Krypton's future. Abandon it and you've destroyed Krypton. Now, I asked the question to people, I'm going to ask it to you guys here. Do you think that Superman committed genocide against the Kryptonian people by destroying the Kryptonian ship when he said Krypton had its chance? Why I'm saying this is because you have to look at it from both perspectives. You have to look at it from a human perspective. Yes, definitely General Zod was going to genocide the Earth. He's going to wipe out every living thing and then build Krypton over it. This is true. But was Superman, in order to save Earth, having to commit genocide towards Krypton? Do you think that was genocide or not? So that's the question I want for you guys. I know what the answer is, but I want to hear what you guys have to say about that. That's a great discussion. And you know, the Codex was stolen by Jor-El, put into Clark. Clark had the Codex in him. Clark would be necessary to sustain Kryptonian life. Of course, the Kryptonian life in the Genesis chambers could happen once you have a Kryptonian body. So once you have a Kryptonian body on DNA, you can generate new Kryptonians. So that's the whole point behind it. Because they use cloning. Zack Snyder rolled up to Comic-Con in a Batmobile while James Gunn had the DCU revealed in the boiler room. There's levels to this. Actually, James Gunn didn't even try to go to Comic-Con this year, and he's not having any Super Bowl official trailer either. So, here's what it is. There it is. DC Studios will not show any trailers at the Super Bowl. Said they're going to be doing it at the Puppy Bowl. It's just ridiculous. I think James Gunn is trolling us. I think he's trolling us, and he's wanting to see how many of his fans are actually good at it, because that's too funny. It's way too funny. After
You're
Resurrection
a gay guy.
Superman,
People
Prime
call you all
Instance
kinds of different
announces
things.
Nightmare Superman, so that's kind of cool. Yeah, we saw this already.
Right? I mean, isn't it their right to do that? I mean, it's not your right to not be offended, but they should have the right to do that. I mean, are you a free speech absolutist?
I mean, look, for me,
Well, one of the things that I noticed about all of the people who were demonetized and then eventually had their blue check mark stripped from them, many accounts, these so-called groypers, they were all banned. All of these accounts had one thing in common, and that's that they were critical of Israel. Do you think that is coming into play?
that's not. I mean, that's just not. That's not in my wheelhouse. It's just really not.
Are you concerned that they gave Trump $100 million?
I mean, it's not really something that's in my wheelhouse. I pretty much focus on military issues.
Would you advocate for us getting our blue check mark back?
That's
Should we
out
be-
of my
should we be
wheelhouse. That's out of my wheelhouse.
You keep saying that. What does that even mean? It's out of, what's your personal opinion? I mean, do you think that I should be silenced for being critical of Israel?
My personal opinion is that it doesn't really have anything to do with it. That's my personal opinion.
But it does, because you're an American.
But I appreciate you giving
You're
me
an
the time
American.
to
That's
talk about the military.
conservatism. Free speech is a huge conservative. You represent yourself as a conservative.
Thank
I'm
you,
not
sir.
asking your opinion on, oh, look at this. Doesn't that just prove my point right there? Look at that. Rob Smith just ran off. You start becoming critical of Israel, and it's suddenly not in your wheelhouse. You're not allowed to ask those questions. You're not allowed to ask any questions about Israel, or you get shut down. You get your blue check mark taken away on Twitter. You're not allowed to ask about Jews or Israel or overrepresentation. On the Stu Peters Network, you can't ask Rob Smith, the flaming homosexual, about Israel, because that's not in his wheelhouse. If you're in the military, if you're concerned about military, isn't this one of the general principles, one of the core founding rights that the military enlists to protect? Your freedom of speech and expression, the ability to question your government, to petition the government to redress your grievances, and you're running off from an interview. You're not a hero. You're not a champion for free speech. You're not a champion for conservatism. What the hell are you conserving anyways by taking dick in the ass? This is a joke. And yes, Elon Musk took $66 billion from BlackRock. Donald Trump has taken over $234 million from AIPAC. These people are sold out to the foreign secular homosexual nation state of Israel. They're going to get their shekels worth. Benjamin Netanyahu is the de facto president of this country, and that just proved it.
أنا أتواجد الآن على حاجز سريع على خط صلاح الدين. هذا الحاجز الذي وضعه الاحتلال ويفصل جنوبي القطاع عن شماله. كما نشاهد الآن القوات المصرية والقطرية تسهل عودة الفلسطينيين العائدين من جنوب القطاع إلى شماله بعد حرب عام ونصف.
Let's run that back for you guys, because I know you didn't hear all of it.
أنا أتواجد الآن على حاجز نت سريم على خط صلاح الدين. هذا الحاجز الذي وضعه الاحتلال ويفصل جنوبي القطاع عن شماله. كما نشاهد الآن القوات المصرية والقطرية تسهل عودة الفلسطينيين العائدين من جنوب القطاع إلى شماله بعد حرب عام ونصف.
So you see Egyptian and Qatari military allowing Palestinians to go to the north. And so the Palestinians are actually up in the north as well, settling back in their homes and shit. So that's kind of cool. But Israel is now starting to wage war against the West Bank, and for no reason at all. They're not waging war, sorry. They're just slaughtering people and kicking them out of their houses and shit. And it's just illegal. And nobody's reining them in. They need to get reined in. Somebody has to check them. Nobody's checking them. So that's why the Palestinian resistance comes to be. That's why you have Hamas and all these other resistance groups that resist, because if you don't push back on these motherfuckers, they're going to just annihilate you. That's what they're going to do. And that's what Israel's been doing. And that's why people say Israel should not be existing as a state, especially in its present form. Netanyahu they need to kick Netanyahu out of power and stuff. And they need to just get rid of, the order that's there. And make Israel into just a democratic nation where everybody has rights, and Palestine is a separate state, so be it, So you also have, there's so much anti-Islamophobia. It's not funny. In Europe, Sweden, and all these countries, and they're trying to trump up, these Muslims killing people and stuff like that, which is not necessarily true. Now, do not mix up Al-Qaeda and ISIS with what the majority of Islam is. Islam is not like that. Islam, as you can see, Hamas doesn't harm women and children and older people and non-combatants. They don't do that. So, again, it's just one of those things where, resistance groups that try to follow the rules, like Hezbollah and Hamas, they're labeled terrorists, where meanwhile, the real terrorists are Israel and the IDF, and they've been doing a lot of atrocities, and now they're doing a lot of atrocities in the West Bank. And there's no Hamas in the West Bank. There's one or two handful of resistant groups, and the resistant groups are fighting back, but they're in response. They're reacting to what the IDF has been doing, So it's like crazy what, how the state of Israel is even existing in the Middle East is one of the, the worst things ever. And of course, Israel standing in the world now is at a dog shit level, and rightfully so, 7 p.m. in the afternoon, I need to go do X, Y, and Z. Actually, I can't do anything now. I had to just stay put, but I think I'm gonna go out the road, just get some stuff to eat with my food. I think I still have food there, so I'll go and get some food and stuff. Yeah. So anyway, free Palestine. There's a lot of stuff. There's a lot of stuff, y'all, and I don't want to go into that. That's really long. But there was another thing I was supposed to look at and talk to you guys about, and I think I forgot on the stream. This stream has been very long. This stream's going for an hour, 38 minutes, and somebody's just been hanging in there with me, listening to the stream all the way through. There's so much to say on this. I can't even tell you guys how much. It's just a lot. And I haven't even talked about everything I wanted to talk about. Restore the Snyderverse. But suffice it to say that the Snyderverse is the only thing when it comes to universes that has been successful and working. And, another thing, they try to conflate the Snyderverse with the DCEU. The Snyderverse and the DCEU are not the same thing. The Snyderverse is Man of Steel, BVS, Wonder Woman, and Zack Snyder's Justice League. That's the Snyderverse. It's not Aquaman. It's not Studio Squad. It's not Shazam. Okay? It's not Justice League. Okay? None of those are the Snyderverse. Snyderverse is Snyderverse in tone, It's a Snyderverse in terms of associated with Zack Snyder and direction. Those three movies I just mentioned, Zack Snyder directed, and Wonder Woman. Why Wonder Woman is part of the Snyderverse is because Wonder Woman actually Zack Snyder wrote the story for Wonder Woman, so that's the reason. He already planned out a lot of stuff for it. So Patty just had to direct and work with the story, you know. So Wonder Woman 2017 is a Snyderverse film for that reason. It's not exactly what Zach wanted to do. Obviously, his story was changed up a bit, but the fabric, the foundation, the raw materials and stuff that was needed for that movie, and the money put aside for it was already there. Okay, and it was extremely successful. So BVS launched Wonder Woman, and Patty Jenkins took that wave and wrote it, and that's what she should have done afterwards. She should have wrote that fucking Wonder Woman wave, and she should have wrote the wave. Yeah, she should have wrote that shit, but she did not. She decided to go a different direction because Jeff Johns, probably that snake, told her, you know what, Patty, you're a really good director, blah, 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 blah. You should do your own idea. And she fucked up. So it is what it is. But with respect to the Snyderverse, her movie, Wonder Woman 2017, is part of that. The missing piece would be David Ayer's cut, which I don't promote anymore because David Ayer kisses Gunn's ass way too much and throws fans under the bus, called us vampires, etc. So fuck David Ayer. But he is also supposed to be a part of the Snyderverse, and his version of Suicide Squad, if it ever comes to see the daylight, would be a part of the Snyderverse. Okay? And it's because it kind of follows right after BVS. It also refers to BVS, but it's not just the referring to BVS, because Studio Squad is not David Ayer's movie, therefore it's not part of the Snyderverse. Snyderverse movies have to be director driven, not studio driven, you know? So that's another thing. Now, I do not include Aquaman in there, even though James Wan is the one that did it. It's because Aquaman was also changed up from what it was supposed to be, and it's mostly a studio driven film. And while the goodwill of the Snyder fans was for it at the time, I was not for it. I thought it was a fucking marvelized piece of shit. And it was. I thought that, even though that rooftop scene was crazy, I still thought that it's not part of the Snyderverse. I think James Wan's movie was changed up a lot. And you can just look at the before and after stuff. And I have information on that, but I'm just not going to talk about all that right now. I think it's weird how these influencers who pick up on previous DC films see this as some hostile takeover. Now that the movie's quality and vision is being questioned in public, they are in a panic, crying victim. It's true. And this is Fire James Gunn. Henry Cavill talking about his dismissal here. All movie news, kissing Gunn's ass, trying to change up Gunn's movie, showing that he felt that it wasn't that good. I love how this discourse has made these people attempt to put down Cavill's Superman, only to show more convincingly how good an actor he is. His performance in this 30-second scene perfectly captures a hero who momentarily discovers his powers, finds his limitation, and falls. This was really fantastic. And then that big speech by Jarrell was just, it was so majestic. Okay, ladies and gentlemen. So let me put a wrap to that because I've been on here for quite a good minute. I'm going to wrap up right here. I hope you guys have a great night. There's something else I have to show you guys, which comes from Facebook. Oh, I was supposed to recap the movies for 2024. I'm going to go through them in a minute. But this is just so funny. I have to get to it. Let me see if I can get to it here. Boom. Bam. Okay. Can you imagine Cyrus Superman not saving people in order to have sex? There would be a witch hunt, but Reeve choosing the sex of Lewis over saving humanity, it's fine. The regressive trend is a bad sign. To be clear, 2003 looks and is far superior and congruent. Yeah, That's the Matrix right there, and he's flying even. He looks dope as fuck. We're in the year 2025. 21 years later. John King, shout out to John King. I'm not going to sugarcoat it. We have a messed up generation of people. A generation if people think somehow dealing with human struggles is dark, emo, and edgy. You know what I'm saying, bro? Deadpool creator Robert Liefeld criticized James Gunn's Superman's flying scene. Oh man, that last shot is bad. He's right though. I'm laughing, but he's right. I was laughing. Man, I was laughing at so much shit. Straight facts. Henry Cavill's Superman. If you constantly fought against DC when you didn't like it, then don't act surprised when people you helped rob of a meaningful conclusion don't get excited about your movies. I lost 2 Superman in this reboot. I owe the company nothing, and those naysayers even less. Yeah, you're right. The Henry Cavill Superman and then Tom Laughlin's Superman, which, again, for TV, that wasn't bad. The Superman of Lewis, I wasn't hot up on it, but it wasn't bad. You know what I'm saying? It was better than it. It was better than Tim Laughlin's representation of Superman when he was introducing Supergirl. He really had some depth and stuff like that. I'm not saying it was the best thing since sliced bread, but I'm just saying, so I get it. And you know what's the weird thing? This fucking studio, I'm sorry, I'm really getting angry. This fucking studio, man, as soon as fans get attached to something or they enjoy something, the fucking studio takes it away. Like, what is wrong with this fucking studio? You know what I'm saying? I'm sorry, I just had to say it. I just got angry when I thought about it.
Clark Kent's not everyone's hero now.
A green collapsed at my husband's work site and killed him. Where was Clark Kent then? Who says he gets to choose who lives and who dies?
Hero. If Superman were here right now, what would you want to say to him?
That my family too had dreams. To look him in his eye and ask him how he decides which lives count and which ones do not.
Smallville introduced that first.
I was sent here alone. To do what? Work on a farm? It's pretty clear there's a bigger agenda here.
My father sent me here with a dying wish that I use my abilities to protect mankind. It's what I've always done. It's what I'm going to continue to do.
And I'm sure if I ask your friends, they'll attest to that. Friends like Lois Lane. You gave her the front page of a lifetime. And if she's been keeping your secret, she could be aiding and abetting an enemy of the state.
Lois is innocent. Everything she knows is in her story.
And Chloe Sullivan. Impressive how long she kept your secret. How many other secrets is she keeping, Clark?
Look, I've been open about everything you've asked me.
I appreciate it. I really do. I'm sure you won't have any problem with us running some tests.
No one agreed to any tests. Only to answer the questions you asked of me.
Just calm down and everything will be fine, all right?
No one's running any tests.
Right, we talked about this. You have... Oh, Clark, you have to keep this side of yourself a secret.
What was I supposed to do? Just let him die?
Maybe. There's more at stake here than just our lives, Clark, or the lives of those around us. When the world finds out what you can do, it's going to change everything. Our beliefs, our notions of what it means to be human, everything. You saw how Pete's mom reacted, right? She was scared, Clark. People are afraid of what they don't understand.
The world fears me, Chloe, as long as they know who I am. I can't help them. I don't have a choice.
Son, you're the answer to are we alone in the universe?
I don't want to be.
And I don't blame you, son. It'd be a huge burden for anyone to bear. But you're not just anyone, Clark, and I have to believe that you
You were sent here for a reason. All these changes that you're going through, one day you're going to think of them as a blessing. And when that day comes, you're going to have to make a choice. A choice of whether to stand proud in front of the human race or not.
Can I just keep pretending I'm your son?
You are my son.
The world isn't ready to accept someone like me. No one can ever know my name.
Beautiful, beautiful. This is what we've been saying all along. And it's great to see David Moody Man break it down and share it with us from Smallville. And remember, David Goyer got his idea for Superman, but he pulled it off of Smallville. And you can see in Smallville, and I love Smallville because Smallville's like pre-Superman, how he develops to become Superman. And this is why Zack Snyder didn't spend so much time sort of rehashing Superman's childhood, because y'all saw it with Smallville. So you kind of put it together, kind of like, you know. And so, again, the thing about it is, I love how this guy cites how the world would see Superman, how the world would react to Superman. As I said before, the government would have pulled him in and done tests on him. And the thing about it with Superman in Man of Steel, he's still a teenager. He doesn't know who he is, doesn't know where he came from. So it's really dicey. He knows he's an alien. Okay, that much he knows now. He didn't even know that before he saved the kids in the bus, and his father said, you're not just anybody. Okay, and then he showed him where he came from and stuff. So, like, when he realized he was not, from Earth and stuff, and his father said, you owe it to yourself to find out who you are, find out what your purpose is, and move from there. So his father was never going to jeopardize his life by outing him in any sort of way until he found out who he was, until he was ready, and until he was ready to present himself to the world and not worry about what people think about him. And that day came. So anyway, my point being that, to me, this is going more deeper into Superman. And I think Man of Steel covered great ground in going into who Superman is, what Superman is. Smallville did a great job as well. And even Lewis and Superman and Lewis did a great job with Superman. I think they pushed boundaries on Superman. And I think they tried to answer some questions. They couldn't really answer all the questions, but they tried to. And I think what Zack Snyder did was cover so much ground on Superman. It's not funny. And anybody who's a fan of Superman, you're going to appreciate Man of Steel. You're going to appreciate BVS. You're going to appreciate Zack Snyder's Justice League. What Zack is doing, because Zack is a comic book nerd. And that's how I got back interested in Superman. Superman was boring as shit. I thought of him as a pretty boy. I liked Smallville. I enjoyed Smallville because Smallville was adventures, new adventures of Superman. And the way how they relayed Clark Kent was great. They did a great job. They got a great actor to play Clark Kent as well. I mean, Tom Welling is great. I mean, he just played a great Clark Kent. So, Smallville Superman really set the tone for Man of Steel, which set the tone for BVS. And now we have Zack Snyder's Justice League. Of course, we want to see the sequels, the two sequels, one the Batfleck movie. I think if there's a trade-off anywhere, because of course these movies could go on and on and on, but the end point is the end of the Justice League sequels. Okay, I do believe we need to get a Cyborg movie. I do believe we need to have a Batman movie. So the Batfleck movie should come either, and again, these are low budget movies. Batfleck movie is a low budget movie. The Cyborg movie is going to be kind of expensive, I think. But the Batfleck movie, that ain't going to no big set of money, So I don't know. The air cuts right there. It's just a pop. Just put it out there. You know what I'm saying? So I don't understand why Warner Brothers. I don't get it. You have movies that are done, but maybe you have some sort of creed or something that says Zack Snyder can't work with you, or I don't understand, because the Batfleck movie, to be honest with you, doesn't have to have Zack Snyder anywhere there. You know what I mean? It's Ben Affleck, maybe a director like Gavin O'Connor, who, again, Ben Affleck's going to be doing the accountant too. And if that movie is successful, then that's the test back, that's the benchmark for Ben Affleck to work, because Commissioner Gordon's in that movie. I'm calling him Commissioner Gordon. Batfleck's in that movie. A potential Batgirl is in that movie already. I don't get it. Accountant is like, but the problem is James Gunn. James Gunn is in DC. James Gunn is the CEO and Peter Safran, and they could block it. They could put an impediment to that. Even if Superman flops, once they're CEOs of DC, we're always going to have a problem with Zack Snyder doing DC. It's when they're gone, and let's say Andy and DeLuca somehow fill that gap temporarily or whatever, that this is where Constantine can get greenlit, because Constantine was supposed to come out. We're supposed to have a sequel to Constantine. We're supposed to have a sequel to Constantine. Batman, the second Joker movie, Mr. Matt Reeves' Batman. I think Abdi and DeLuca would allow Matt Reeves to do what he needs to do with the Batman movie. You know, Abdi and DeLuca would facilitate Zack Snyder's sequels going through. I could see them doing it because they like original movies. They like original takes. You know, under them, you got the successful Barbie movie. I can see director-driven movies happening under Abdi and DeLuca. I can't see it under anybody else. I don't know if the studio has some mandate saying that Zack Snyder can't work, but obviously Abdi and DeLuca are trying to attract these directors. They're calling back Zack Snyder to do the 300. They want to have a relationship with these directors. They want these directors to be involved in Warner Brothers. James Gunn is the one impediment to Warner Brothers really doing something great. There are certain executives in Warner Brothers who are a destructive force to Warner Brothers. And they've been having their way for a long while. And once their arms are cut and their ties are cut from Warner Brothers, and once executives like Abdi and DeLuca are allowed to stay in Warner Brothers, I think the company's going to do very, very, very well. But there are elements in that company that are just absolutely destroying that company. And it's weird how they try to palm off these toxic elements of the company onto the fans. The fans are supposed to be fans. It doesn't matter if they're toxic or not. They're fans. Fans do whatever. Once fans are talking, once they're talking about stuff, it at least shows their passion. It shows their desire. It shows that they want something positive to come out of the situation. It doesn't matter how it comes out of their mouths, because fans can be the dumbest, stupidest, ficklest people on the planet. But you don't go after the fans. You don't call them toxic. You don't demonize them. You don't try to isolate them. You don't pick a war with the fans. You just don't do that. They are your lifeblood. They are what keeps your company alive. And regardless of whether the fans, I didn't like the Barbie movie. I didn't even go and watch it. Okay? It wasn't interesting to me. It wasn't for me. It wasn't for my demographic anyway. But the point is, I acknowledge its success. I acknowledge the great campaigning and the great marketing that they did to put it forward. Do I agree with what it proposes and what it says? No. But suffice it to say that was an artist rendition. It came from the director. It came from her imagination. Right. So regardless of how you look at it, and the fact that they mentioned the Snyder Cut in there and the Snyderverse is an honor, right? Because Zack Snyder's Snyder Cut became part of the zeitgeist. It became part of pop culture, and it was mentioned everywhere. Zack Snyder's name is mentioned everywhere. Zack Snyder's part of pop culture. And we, the fans, sort of made him infamous because of the BVS. And to this day, almost 9 years to the point of BVS. But March this year will be 9 years. since BVS came out. There's still assholes out here trying to debate with us that BVS hurt the DCEU, which it did not. Okay? It wasn't a failure. No, it wasn't. And it didn't hurt the DCEU. But the decision by Warner Bros. To move distance themselves from BVS as much as possible hurt the DCEU. And to this day, they're paying for it. The stupid people in this whole thing is the studio. If the studio had backed Zack Snyder, like they're backing James Gunn right now, they would have been making billion-dollar movie after billion-dollar movie and dominating the place. Dominating comic books right now. But they didn't stand behind Zack Snyder like how they're standing behind James Gunn. Because they believe in James Gunn, even though James Gunn hasn't done anything significant. He's only directed one set of movies, and that's the Guardian of the Galaxy movies successfully. He's directed nothing else. Zack Snyder has directed 300. He's directed Dawn of the Dead. Look how many successful movies. That's 2. He's also directed the Snyderverse trilogy. We'll keep that all as 1. Okay? He's successfully done it. Okay? That's 3. He's directed also successfully Rebel Moon, which didn't go into theaters with limited territory. Army of the Dead. Okay. He's also directed very successfully Twilight of the Gods. Okay. James Gunn has done, now those are mostly streaming. James Gunn's done one streaming, I think it was Peacemaker. And his success is sketchy. He's also done Creature Commanders, and that again is very sketchy. In fact, it's not done that well. Now, why I'm saying that is because James Gunn is touted as this great writer and great director. And it's solely on his Guardian of the Galaxy movies. Snyder has a number of franchises he's directed successfully. Okay? So this is the difference. Now, between them, Zack Snyder has, I think, superior movies to James Gunn's movies. Just way superior made movies to James Gunn's movies. His movies are much more richer. The rewatchability is off the scale. James Gunn's movies, well, he's only got one set of movies. The Guardian of the Galaxy movies. You're not going to put that in repeat loop and watch that again and again and again and again and again and get new stuff from it and new things all the time. You're not going to get that. Zack Snyder's stuff is rewatchable. Okay? So it's all of that you got to look at, man. You know? Shout out to Davey Moody Man. There's Calvin. And there's David Cornsweat. Oh my God. I'm not even gonna. Some things are just not. The Batman and Man of Steel 2 that people want to see as Henry Cavill Man of Steel 2. Yeah. This looks weird. Weird. They got him in diapers, y'all. They got him in diapers. This is crazy. This is the same thing I showed you guys earlier on. Superman L, not even at Smallville level, is really telling. Not my Superman. Yep. It's embarrassing. It's very embarrassing. I'm not gonna lie to you. It's extremely embarrassing. Seems not even Clark Kent could avoid this problem. Tom Welling, the actor who played the young Superman in Smallville, was arrested in Recca, California for driving under the influence. That's it? Drunk driving? That's it? According to reports, police found him in the parking lot of Arby's with a blood alcohol level up above the legal. Ah, come on. Y'all some kind of crazy ass motherfuckers. The most ironic thing is that this happened the same night he was celebrating his wife Jessica's birthday. Okay, so he drank. Maybe the party got out of control, but instead of ending up flying through the skies, he ended up with the DIA charge. So what? Unfortunately, this time neither Lex nor Chloe were there to cover his back. Whatever. Sources close to the police say that when the patrol arrived to stop him, Welling, in an act of desperation, opened the car door and shouted, "Somebody save me!" Well, he didn't say that. But they say he calmly let himself be arrested without any problem. Since the end of Smallville, Welling has gone on to appear in shows like Lucifer, Winchester's, staying on fans' radar. However, now his name is making headlines for less than heroic work. Ah, fuck y'all. Y'all just likes too much shit. Okay, he was drunk, so what? He was celebrating, and he drank a little too much. Oh, come on, man. They say he's not cross-eyed. This is hilarious. Oh, man. Henry Cavill is our Superman. Yep. Cavill. Something's very wrong. I mean, people be laughing and other stuff about this shit.
My name is Maximus Decimus Meridius.
My name is Jeff.
My name is Maximus Decimus Meridius.
My name is Jeff.
My name is Maximus Decimus Meridius.
My name is Jeff.
My name is Maximus Decimus Meridius.
My name is Jeff.
My name is Maximus Decimus Meridius.
My name is Jeff.
My name is Maximus Decimus Meridius.
My name is Jeff.
My name is Maximus Decimus Meridius. My name is Maximus Decimus Meridius.
So silly. We all know the cast of Justice League are aging. I even see that they're getting old. Well, aging means getting old. But I do believe Snyder will use Barry's time travel as a means to make their age fit into the universe where they're meant to look young. I can see this universe is failed, and Barry knew this, so he looks for a different universe similar to the Snyderverse. But the only difference is the cast looks much older and wiser, and Barry will decide to stay in that universe. Anybody else have theory on how the cast can be reconciled? It doesn't really matter because, again, the Wolverine is still there, and Hugh Jackman's like, what, 59? He's almost 60 years old. Wesley Snipes like 61, 63, something like that. I mean, the aging's not going to be too much of a problem. Besides, Justice League, we're supposed to catch up with them 10 years into the future anyway, so, I mean, we're on track. Yeah, people. So that's just one of the many different places you can go. There are other pages and stuff there. Santa Cruz Appreciation Group. Here's my stream again. I'm seeing my stream all the time. So they're confused. Oh my God. So they have Christopher Reeve, who's a lion. You got Henry Cavill's a younger lion. And I don't know if this is a lion with a haircut, or if this is some sort of stuffed lion, or if this is a lion Muppet. But oh my God, this thing is Uncanny Valley. Look at that face. That definitely looks like an Uncanny Valley. It doesn't look like his face. It almost feels like his face is like a bubblehead on a bubblehead doll. The face does not fit the body and everything. And Gunn is saying there's no CG involved, but I don't know, bro. I don't know, man. I don't know. He lies so much. That's the problem, you know what I mean? Oh my God. Oh boy. I hate you passionately for yours. Guntards after roasting Snyder and DC fans. Guntards after they get roasted back. Snyder fans are toxic. Real DC fans before going online to harass and bully Snyder fans for enjoying his movies, then having the nerve to call them toxic. That was so on point. Master Wayne. Master Wayne. That was on point. Snyder fans after 10 years of nitpicking. Just standing there. Stoic. Taking it and dishing it back. Real DC fans after people clown one frame. Just some thoughts. Imagine blaming Richard Donner for Superman 3, Superman 4, and Superman Returns just because they continued his characters. Or blaming Tim Burton for Batman Forever and Batman and Robin simply because they followed his version of Batman. Or holding George Lucas responsible for Star Wars sequel trilogy just because it featured his original characters. Or faulting Steven Spielberg for the Jaws sequels. Then why is Zack Snyder still being blamed for the rest of the DCU's failures just because they used his characters? Exactly. And not even in his vision. They took the characters and they did what they wanted with it according to their vision. And they had the audacity to put his name on the shit, like Justice League 2017, directed by Zack Snyder. No, he didn't direct that shit. That's not his vision. Okay? So they tried to strap his name onto shit so they could blame him. Oh, he was producing these movies. He had nothing to do with the fucking movies at all. He just tried to encourage the people and was like, always being encouraging. You know what I mean? But that's it. Zack Snyder had nothing to do with those goddamn flops. Nothing. So I like what Hope said. Sam Elliott. I don't know if Sam Elliott is Hope or who Hope is. But shout out to S for Hope, who's on Twitter. Real knowledge right there. He just broke down. It's true. Zack Snyder's Superman, and of course Superman from the Superman animated series. Dun da da, dun da da, dun da da, dun da da, dun da da. For those of you who don't know about that, see, y'all not really Superman fans. That's the animated series that was produced by Paramount, not Warner Brothers. Paramount. Okay. Dun da da, dun da. Jump tall buildings in a single bound. Faster than a locomotive. Faster than a speeding bullet. It's Superman. See, y'all don't know that. Y'all don't know nothing about that. That's the Superman with the mild-mannered Clark Kent, metropolitan reporter for the Daily Planet. See, people don't know Superman. They say they know. Y'all don't know no damn Superman. That's the truth. That's the truth. Okay, we have 3 hours and 15 minutes and 55 seconds. Oh, God, this is so funny. Yep, they have fucked up Superman, ladies and gentlemen. Warner Bros. Has done a great job. First, they had faceless Superman. They had headless Superman. We had Superman with a fucked up mug. We had digital Superman in the Flash. We had Superman flying to save a volcano. We don't even know who the fuck that is because they want to get Henry Cavill to utilize him. We had dead-eyed Superman with Supergirl. We had Nicolas Cage Superman. Nicolas Cage never got permission to use his image and likeness. Neither did the deceased Christopher Reeve, nor George Reeves. And this is the kind of shit we have to deal with, ladies and gentlemen. Yeah? A studio that is just immoral. It does not know where to stop. Sam Elliott using my stuff here to show just how fucked up the whole thing was. That's really awesome. Sam Elliott. Yeah, baby. Video on that. The moment you realize Alfred described Warner Brothers, some people aren't looking for anything logical like money. They can't be bought, bullied, reasoned, or negotiated with. Some men just want to watch the world burn. Oh my God, these fans are so freaking funny. Batman, No Way Home with Ben Affleck. This is funny as hell. Ben Affleck, Christian Bale, and Robert Pattinson. They're doing the Marvel shit. That's funny, man. That's funny. I'm not gonna lie. That's funny. If you ever feel dumb, just remember Snyder haters think Superman with red eyes somehow makes him evil. Oh, God. Oh, my God. The Batman. Yes, sir. You need to see that movie. This is Christopher Nolan's Batman, The Dark Knight. That was a classic. I'm not going to lie. That was a classic. That's his best work in terms of Batman. Batman Begins was kind of boring. Batman. We have Batman here in Studio Squad. We have Batman in the Nightmare sequence. We have Joker. We have Deathstroke from Zack Snyder's Justice League. We have the apocalyptic versions of them, and we have them in the different stories, which is kind of dope. V for Vendetta, man. That's kind of dope. V for Vendetta. Haters saying Snyder made Superman a god, then expecting him to save everyone and contain a madman with the same powers. Like, it's a piece of cake. Making him perfect makes him a god. That's correct. He never was a god. Even though his father said he'd be like a god to them. Yeah, he might look that way, but he's just a normal guy. Normal Joe. Ironic haters say this scene doesn't make sense, but it's the perfect representation of what it's like to debate with them online, since they're so blinded by hate and paranoia like Batman to listen to Superman's explanation. That's correct. BBS is such an amazing story about how the media can conspire together and manipulate the public at will to vilify and demonize anyone they so choose. That's correct. Paid to play, baby. Paid to play. Sam Elliott really been killing it on this thing. I love it. All right, so I don't want to go on and on and on and on and on. I'm going to wrap it up right here. And I'm going to call it a day, all right, people? It was nice. It was nice. I'm going to see you guys later. Peace to you. Have a great week.